Hello and welcome to Story Mode. My name is Faith. This is my variety gaming YouTube channel. Hello and welcome. Hello to Kirst and to Thunderstriken in the live chat. Thank you guys for joining the stream this evening. It's so nice to see you. Hello to all the VOD watchers who may catch the stream a little bit later. I am averaging about 35 views per stream total after the fact, so there are people catching up with the content by watching the live streams as videos after I go back offline. So thank you to the VOD watchers. Hello and welcome. If you are catching this as a recording, thank you so much for checking out the video that was once a stream. And if you enjoy it, please click that like button, and if you think you're gonna come back for more, maybe keep up with the series, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel as well. It's super easy and painless and free, so consider liking and subscribing to support the channel. Appreciate you guys. Hello Thunder, so glad I could serve. You needed some good news. Here I am. Here I am. And Cursed has been up since 4 a.m. could not get back to bed, so you've been gaming before logging into work. Keeping it real in Hogwarts Legacy. Oh, it's such a good game. It's such a good game. I definitely didn't play RTM all day yesterday. I feel sarcasm detected. Sarcasm detective. Oh, thank you, Cursed, supporting the likes and subs. Yeah, it's a good channel, right? We have fun, we play games, we share stories. I'm gonna share a story with you guys, not verbally, actually, for once. I'm gonna show you a story and we'll talk about it when it's done. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and bust through all of the info. First of all, thank you to those who are watching again the streams. We are at 1,956 watch hours now, out of 3,000 needed for monetization. We also are still sitting pretty at 147 subs out of 500 needed for monetization. So we're still working our way towards monetization of this channel on YouTube. I am not on Twitch. I'm so sorry. I just can't do it yet. But if we get to monetization, I will then be able to offer memberships, and when we can offer memberships, I can offer member perks. Excuse me, like free coughs, realness, being very human here in my streams. Member perks, I plan to include things like member exclusive streams with a face cam where we just chat. I play games of your choosing, or we play games together, fun things like Mario Kart, other party games like that. Behind the scenes videos will also be included for memberships, where I can show you my setup, I can show you a day in the life in terms of like get ready with me for streaming, all of that fun stuff, and making of stuff behind the scenes, how I make certain elements to my content, and exclusive content like up till now unseen videos and audiobooks by Faith ? So yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff that will be available when we have memberships. I'm like terrified and excited because when we get there, like I gotta lock in and get this stuff made. And it only occurred to me recently, hey, I should probably start making some of this stuff, you know, ahead of time, so it's kind of ready to go. But anyways, last but not least, guys, there is a throne wish list for this channel, just so you know. And the only thing on that wish list is a PlayStation 5, and that is because I want a PlayStation 5 to use exclusively for the channel to stream PlayStation 5 exclusive games. Have you guys heard they're planning to, they've announced that they're gonna kill hard copies, disc copies of games moving forward. They're gonna go all digital PlayStation. I don't like it. I'm old and I don't like it. We can talk about that if you guys want. But yeah, up at the moment I can still get a PS5 with a disc drive, and that would be my plan. Because I like having hard copies of my games. We won't get into that just yet. And the last thing I wanted to share, actually I lied. Really last and kind of least. Last and least. Here's an official menu, you guys, for our redeemables. I know that I throw terms out there and that I have you guys kind of test them. So if nothing crazy has happened, I haven't seen any updates from Streamlabs or anything. All of this stuff should be working. If you guys want any of these alerts to pop up during stream, you want to share the love, you want to tell me a good game after destroying a robot Oliphant like I did last time. If you want to make fun of me for being really good at games, which I'm not, or really good at streaming, which I'm not, you can mock me openly with the pro gamer and the pro streamer alerts. And then also I added the rant redemption because I go on rants every once in a while, and I think the story I'm going to share with you guys is going to involve some ranting. There it is. Much love right back at you, Kirsten. Thank you. So you guys, that is the menu for redeemables we have on the channel right now. Feel free to let them fly all during the stream. Let's get into this segment because we've got stuff to talk about. All right, friends, tell me something good. Let me catch up with chat while I was sharing all my info. I was not reading chat because my brain just like flips upside down so quickly. Kurt says hello. Everyone said hello. Playing RTM all day, of course. Do you have your pat goat yet? I hope the story involves talking veggies. It doesn't. Something better, maybe? Something that may also get me a copyright strike. Kurt says yes, redeem love. I put each game on an SD card. I'm trying to trick my brain that it's a Nintendo DS cartridge. My question, Thunder, if by doing that, does that mean you can play the game anytime, anywhere? I guess when you're talking about PlayStation, this doesn't really apply, but when you can't get online and therefore cannot play your games because you're not on Wi-Fi or something, that drives me up the wall. It's more of a Switch issue. I have a week off in the middle of August, so like 2 weeks away, and I can't wait for it. Vacation is coming. That's so exciting. So on an SD card, like, does that troubleshoot that issue? Obviously, I'm not carrying a PlayStation 5 around with me to play in outside of my home, so internet connection really isn't a problem. But yeah, it's just there's so many things about it. I just prefer to have my games in my hand. I like to have them on display. It makes me feel like I don't own anything, and it's the same thing with like music nowadays where everything's like an MP3 file. We don't have CDs or cassettes or albums. I mean, yeah, you can go out of your way to get a collectible vinyl album of something, but like generally speaking, all of our consumerism is just turning digital, and it's like everything that I own is in the cloud. That makes me feel like I don't own anything. And that makes me feel like anyone can take it from me at any time. I don't like it. I want my tactile stuff. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, it's Axebeard. Hello and welcome in, Axebeard. Friends, acquaintances, enemies alike. Everyone go check out Axebeard on YouTube. A fellow Return to Moria content creator. Axe, I'm glad you're here. We have some stories to tell. I'm interested to see if any of you guys can guess what this is. Axebeard, welcome in. Sorry, promoting Axebeard's channel. Axebeard plays Return to Moria as well as some other things on their channel. Please go check them out. Friend of mine, great creator. Lots of builds, lots of mods, lots of cool additions to a game that I've otherwise stopped playing. So definitely go check out Axebeard on YouTube. Curse says, I'm in two minds. I enjoy the digital aspects because I can download games for free, PS Plus, right? And just test them out. Just download for the first 2 Spider-Man games. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, Axebeard says, oh boy. Axebeard, get ready. Get ready, but tell me something good. Thunderstriken says, I'm mainly on Steam, so most can be played locally, other than online elements, of course. Okay. Yeah. I'm a console gamer. Like, first and foremost, like, the only PC game that I play is Return to Moria. And I've gotten Palia on PC, so that I can stream it with you guys. But, like, other than that, I'm a console girl. That's what I've been playing on since I was young, you know? So it's like, don't take away the things that I love. Let me own it. Gosh darn it, let me own it. Let me hold it in my own hands. I also like having the actual disc as well. Yeah, it's a double thing. Oh, I don't like it. RTM mining is really going well. I'd say makes my Dwabbit my Dwabbit heart very happy. Kathleen is here. Hello, Kathleen. Welcome in. Tell me something good, please. I need to tell you guys something good. I need to stop complaining about potentially never owning a hard copy of a game ever again. Let me think. It's Monday. The week just started. PT went well today. I put in an application, funny story, unrelated to stories, so many stories today, unrelated to stories that are coming later. I put in an application for a medical receptionist position at the place where I am currently doing my physical therapy. And I was able to talk to somebody who, funnily enough, has administered my physical therapy, a gentleman who works there, who apparently has some position within that office where he can at least kind of promote me as a candidate for the job. So, you know, cross our fingers with the job stuff now. It's very casual. I apply to things if I happen to see something that I think I could do or I would be good at. Funny enough, this job is not a massive pay increase. That's really the main goal, is to like make more money in general. But almost any job that I get will do that for me, because I would be working all year instead of being on a school schedule. I only work like 8 to 9 months out of the year. But anyways, I know people there. Obviously, I go in, I see them, you know, once a week. And yeah, so cross your fingers, maybe it'll come through. And yeah, I mean, I definitely have the customer service chops. I've got the phone service chops, and I can learn any system, any data entry, anything you want me to. So yeah, so cross your fingers if that works out. So that's something good. It's a potential. And I mean, I've put in applications for other things too that seem like they might be a good fit. And at the end of the day, my delivery job is waiting for me. They've actually added another school to my route. So instead of driving to a major city and back for just one school, it'll be 2. I have a bigger van and more stuff. So it's there. It'll pay the bills, you know? That's such a weird position to be in. But yeah, so that's good. A little potential for another job opportunity. What else is good? Marcus has officially completed his web development course. He was doing a supplemental course online. As a digital designer, he is familiar with coding and stuff like that, but he wanted to understand. He's not going to be a web developer, and that's not what he does, but he wanted to understand that side of the creation process for products and stuff that like he makes at his company. So whether it's an app or a website or something that offers some kind of resource, he's making these things from a design standpoint, but he wanted to understand more, especially with the AI component now kind of being very prevalent, what coding, like more details about what coding is, how to actually structurally, in a sense, build digital products and things like that. So he's been going for it's been 5 or 6 months, and he put in so much work, and I'm so proud of him. And he is completed. He graduated, if you will. I think on Friday. So we've just been kind of looking at each other, you know, celebrating in moments, being like, you don't have to study right now. Which is so exciting. And then he's thrown himself headlong into Diablo 4, which was the plan. He was like, I'm gonna finish this course, I'm gonna get through this, you know, work full time, do this, do everything else. And he's gonna take some time to just chill and just enjoy himself a little bit before whatever transition needs to be made. So yeah, so he's playing Diablo 4. She's probably doing right now, honestly, while we're up here hanging out. So yeah, so good for him. And I've taken on as much as I can household wise, because I'm not working and he was doing all of that. So I guess good news for me, I don't have to cook all of the food anymore. We'll kind of settle the chore. We used to split things pretty well, just what he is okay with doing, what I'm okay with doing. We're very compatible. So he kind of maintains the kitchen, dishes, stuff like that, and then I kind of clean bathrooms and stuff, you know, he's not that into. So we're a good pair in terms of compromising as far as like housework and stuff. But I was like, listen, you're going to work full time and then you're coming home and then you're studying super hard. Like, let me just do everything for a while so you don't have to think about it. So now there'll be we'll redistribute a little bit. So that'll be good for me. Kathleen has a short work week. You will be off this Friday. Congratulations. It would be great for you. It'd be an awesome job for you. Thank you. I think I'd be good at it. I think it would definitely have its challenges. Every job does. A lot of people that come into physical therapy are senior citizens, and it can be very difficult to help them understand things. I've never been involved with medical billing before and like insurance and stuff, so there would be a massive learning curve to understand exactly like I know what medical insurance is. Obviously I have worked in HR, so I understand medical benefits in general as far as offered, but as far as billing, like specific individuals billing and stuff like that, that would be a lot to learn. But I think I could do it. I think I got the brains. But yeah, so cross your fingers and toes. Really wish you were the customer service I'm working with right now. To start with, I assume you wouldn't ghost the customer for weeks. No Thunder, I would not. It's weird because sometimes it's the company and not the individual that's the problem. I do remember when I was in HR doing support for like employees of the company I was working for, a lot of times I just couldn't give them the answers that they wanted. There was no ghosting, but it would be like, can you stop kind of giving me a script and give me a personal answer? Can you kind of personalize? And it's like, I honestly can't, because fun fact, and not to say like throw you in the doghouse, Thunder, because that's not the point. But just it might be a comfort to know that sometimes associates that are helping you literally can't give you the kind of service that you want. Everything that all answers that we gave to people is had to be passed through like their legal department. So like we had to get legal clearance to respond to certain questions in certain ways. And so a lot of times I couldn't ad lib. I couldn't. But when I was able to do customer service, I was able to be a real person. Which I did have a lot of feedback from customers saying like, I'm glad to talk to you because you're like a real person and you can explain this to me, and we laughed and we made jokes and like all of that. So yeah, I would definitely be more pleasant. I don't know if I could be more helpful, but I would definitely be more pleasant. It's definitely the company, right. Which is why I feel so bad, because I do get in that situation sometimes where it's like, oh, this service is not what I want. I'm not getting the results that I need. And like, there's nowhere else to express that frustration than at the person you're working with. And like, I know that it's not their fault. So it's a really tough, I've been on both sides of the phone call, you know, so it's a tough dynamic. But yeah, I hope you get some kind of solution soon. And at the end of the day too, I wish more companies understood. This is a big hiring complaint of mine too. Just communicate with people. Even if you have to tell them no, even if the answer is there's nothing we can do for you, you didn't get the job, effing tell me. Like, tell me. Don't just ghost like we're ghosting Thunder. Don't ghost. Tell me, communicate. Like, I don't understand why that's not prioritized. I don't understand why that's not a default in many professional interactions and stuff. Like, just communicate. Like, if you've got to tell me no, if it's bad news, still tell me. Because I need information is what I need. So anyways, not quite a rant, a little bit of, okay, are you guys ready? Let me do this. Ooh, and let me do this. And let me do this. I think that is muted. Muted. I have to, okay, so OBS updated. You guys don't care. I'm going to talk shop for a second. OBS updated, and now monitoring volume and output volume are separated, which in theory sounds like it's really helpful, because like I could mute audio input for myself that you guys can still hear, so I can like live my life without the distraction. The problem is nobody told me. Last stream we didn't have any background music because the inputs are separated now. So I could hear background music, so I thought it was happening. It was not happening in the stream. Anyways, fun times. So now I'm like I have to make sure like both sources are muted. Okay, so desktop is muted. Background is muted. I want this on. And we're gonna do this. Are you guys ready? Just go with it. Just go with it. You ready for the story? Let's go.
Now is the mighty hour come.
The Dark Lord is on the brink of crafting a new power. One reign to rule them all. He's got armies scouring Middle-earth.
Middle-earth will burn.
Has it not yet occurred to you? Death might well be the price of saving it. Trying to get back to you.
There are no friends of Mordor here.
Come with me.
The Dark Lord. We have to stop him.
The shadow rises in Middle-earth. How would you like to rise with it?
Okay. Let me do this, and let me do this. what are we thinking? That was the trailer. If you are not familiar, I can't imagine. That is the trailer for season 3 of Rings of Power. I'm a little surprised by all the positive reactions in the chat so far. Kirst, I'm glad you hadn't seen it yet. I was like, everybody has seen this. So this trailer dropped over the weekend. And I didn't love Rings of Power. So, Thunder, get ready to redeem rant. It might turn into a rant. I didn't watch this trailer. I kind of like out of spite for a minute, and then I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna watch it. So then I watched it, and then I wanted to share it with you because our common denominator here is always Lord of the Rings, whether it's the Return to Moria connections that we have of a shared game or the lore that we share or whatever. So there's a lot of Lord of the Rings fans in my audience. So I was like, listen, we'll share it and and we'll talk about it, and it's gonna be great. Okay. You didn't notice we didn't have music. You guys never do. And then I listened back and I'm like, God, it's dead silent. It's okay. You never do. It's fine. I don't hold you accountable anymore. I've learned. Vecna really cleaned up. Right, Kirster, right. Haven't been watching the series, but I've wanted to watch it. Do we have a date yet? So it was November 11th. Popped up at the end of that trailer. So November 11th of 26th. It's supposed to drop on Prime, for the States anyways. Just love the universe, so it makes happy, right? The trailer itself, as my voice cracks, the trailer itself is fine. I hate how, just, like, chopped it is, you know? It's just like chop, scene. You can't really get a feel, and I guess that's what trailers are. They're really just trying to tease you or whatever. But the obvious things, I am not a Lord of the Rings expert, nor was I a huge fan of Rings of Power as a show. But the very obvious things I'm gleaning from this trailer, I can do one pro and one con very clearly for you right now. And tell me what you guys think about it. What you think about the trailer as well. Pro, we'll start with positives. Pro, is it Vecna or Venka? I always say it wrong because I didn't watch that show either. Vecna? She said it. I already lost it. So the actor that played in Stranger Things, a particular character, shows up in this trailer. He is obviously Celeborn, Galadriel's husband. Obviously it's Celeborn. So, okay, great. This is something that needed to be in the original... Vecna, okay, thank you. This is something that needed to be in the first season. Why they did what they did with Celeborn, I guess it was so that they could pretend that Galadriel sort of fell in love with Halbrand and the whole thing, because her husband was presumed dead. Celeborn and Galadriel, from the day that they are married, pretty much barely separate. So I am grateful to see that they are bringing Celeborn into the show. Obviously, they have a reunion. She's like, where have you been? And he's like, trying to get back to you. Basically, he went to war, just like Galadriel's brother in terms of the show, the storyline of the show. Celeborn went to war just like Galadriel's brother Finrod went to war. Finrod was confirmed killed. And so part of Galadriel's kind of backstory in the show is her vengeance, wanting to get vengeance for Finrod's death. So they never recovered a body for Celeborn, though, and she says that to one of the characters in, I think, season 2, maybe season 1, I can't remember. But she mentions that to somebody. She talks to Theo, the kid from the village that ends up becoming the place that ends up becoming Mordor, the Southlands or whatever. So she tells Theo, you know, he asks her basically about, you know, a husband or something. She's like, yeah, I had a husband. He went to fight in the war and we never saw him again. So the assumption was Celeborn was dead, but they've obviously brought him back. So that's a pro. I felt like what they were doing with Galadriel's character would have been a lot better if Celeborn had been the picture. I don't know. One of my biggest beefs with the show is Galadriel's character. I think that they did a horrendous job of keeping the tones of the book, keeping her character more consistent. I think you could have humanized her without making her a bad person. And they made her a bad person because they want Galadriel to have like the bad person to good person arc, like that kind of typical thing. So she's really quite terrible, especially in the first season. She's very selfish. She's extremely self-centered. She doesn't listen to anybody. She puts other people in danger. She tries to force people to do what she wants them to do. She's manipulative. She's all of these things because she's a one-track mind. I've got to find Sauron and I've got to take him down. And she cares nothing for the people around her. She doesn't take anybody else into consideration. And she's pretty terrible, and she gets in trouble for it. Like it turns around and bites her in the butt, right? So anyways, I hate that for Galadriel's character because that just would not have been what her journey was. I could very much see it being a little more realistic for her to be maybe a little more timid. Maybe her growth comes to be more, I'm kind of a timid elf in this kind of scenario, and then I'm gonna grow into my confidence and my wisdom, and then I'm gonna become like a main character, and I'm gonna have that strength, and she'll become the Galadriel of the films, right? That would have been a better track to humanize her, maybe make her a little scared, but they're like, no, we've got to make a strong female character and all this. Anyways, redeem rant whenever you want because we're officially there. But that's one of the things I didn't like about the show was the storytelling decisions with Galadriel's character. And but there's a pro for this trailer. Celeborn is back in the picture, and we'll see what's gonna happen with that. Now, my so frustrating con, I don't know if you guys caught it. I'm sure you did. There's a lot happening in the trailer. Ooh, there it is. That's me, angry cat. Did you guys catch it? They added an orc to the Fellowship. Now, not the original Fellowship, but like the team. Here, we kept seeing Arondir, the elf, the gentleman that we met in previous seasons. Galadriel's traveling with him. It looks like maybe Elrond involved with them. I'm sure they're gonna kind of come together and break up, and everyone's gonna go in their different directions. There's a freaking orc, and he's the one, I think, who's narrating the whole thing. And he's like telling them, hey, Sauron's gonna make these rings. And then there's a scene where he's like, come with me. So the idea is that there's an orc who's trying to fight Sauron. And the first problem with this is what they already have done in the show in previous seasons, which Kathleen, I'm sorry, I should have said this a long time ago. If you don't want spoilers for the TV show, don't listen to anything I say. A little late for a spoiler warning, but there it is. They showed orc wives and babies in season 1, I think. Basically, this series is trying to humanize the orcs, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure, like, if it was the typical like representation issue that we have in modern culture, where it's like we've got to cast Arondir as a darker skinned person because we need to have representation of darker skinned people or whatever. It's an orc. It's literally not a real person. It's not a real race of people. There is no reason, like culturally, that they need to humanize the orcs. And as we all know, orcs kind of started as mutilated elves and tortured and mutilated and kind of reduced to monsters. And then every orc since then has literally been made by Sauron's own evil forces. Like, they just keep multiplying, right? So like they're made. We saw it happen in the films, and the films are pretty accurate to what was going on in Isengard when Sauron was raising his army of Uruk-hai, right? So it's like these things are made. They're sentient and they have a level of intelligence, but they are monsters. Like, they're not people in the sense. Now, you guys can argue this with me if you want. Like, I'll be open to other perspectives. So at first I was annoyed when the show basically was like, the orcs who are following what's his face, Adar, I think. The orcs that were following Adar, like seeing them be like, no, we don't want to fight. And then the one orc is like holding his wife and kid and just like, no, we don't want to go to war. Like, it's so beyond outside of canon for these creatures, right? These creatures of evil. It's the same as humanizing the Balrogs. Like, all of a sudden, are we going to have like a Balrog that has like a wife and child? Are we going to have a Balrog that comes walking down the path being like, help me save, these innocent Balrogs behind me or something? It's like they're the same. They're all created by Sauron to be evil. It's a fantasy. This is what we're doing. So in the show, it was bad enough that they tried to say, hey, we should feel bad for the orcs because they're actually real people with families and children, and we should feel bad for them. And it's like, no, because that's just not accurate. And now in this in this trailer, in this series, in this season, they're gonna have an actual orc character being like a bro hanging out with the rest of the party and being like, I want to stop. So like, no, you would. No, you don't, because he literally created you. Like, there is no part of your brain that is like, this isn't the right thing to do. We need to do something different. Anyway, so that's my big like issue with the trailer. Fortunately, I saw 0 Harfoots in this trailer. I hated everything to do with the Harfoots in season 1 and 2. They felt unnecessary. They felt unnatural. They felt like they were shoved in. The only reason the Harfoots existed was to introduce the character of Gandalf, and we could have done that in 1,000 different ways, but the creators of the show apparently wanted to explain why Gandalf was so preoccupied with hobbits to begin with. So we know that he's very, when we meet him, even in The Hobbit, even before we meet him in The Lord of the Rings, in The Hobbit, he goes to see Bilbo, like, it's understood that like he knows the hobbits really well, and so they decided to introduce his character into a group of Harfoots, which are like proto-hobbits, because we're very, very far back in the past right now. We're in Silmarillion territory. And they wanted to tie those guys together to kind of, I think, explain Gandalf's like affection for the hobbits. So it's kind of like, okay, when he came to Middle-earth, he was surrounded by hobbits, and hobbits are the ones that helped him, so he has this like affinity for them. So unnecessary, did not have to do, the most annoying stuff. This is not The Hobbit, this is not Lord, like, the hobbits are not part of the story at all. They are not included in the Silmarillion at all. I believe in the books, the first time you hear about hobbits is in the introduction to the Fellowship of the Ring. I could be wrong, you guys can correct me on that, because also The Hobbit itself probably has a history as well. The Hobbit book probably has some explanations. But anyways, they're gonna show up, at least Nori and Poppy, the 2 Harfoots that end up going with Gandalf, traveling with him in the show. I'm very sad to say there's really no chance that they're not going to show up at some point. So these 2 little girls are just going to be hanging out with Gandalf, and it's going to be really annoying. But that was something I appreciated about this trailer, was like, yes, I'm not here for the Harfoots. I'm not here for Tom Bombadil. I'm not here for all this floofy, nonsensical, this doesn't do anything but add unnecessary context to the story. Not a fan. So looks like we probably won't be like, I guess, catching back up with the groups, the Hobbit groups, and the Harfoots in the stores and all of that. So cross our fingers, right? It's just a trailer. There's tons of stuff in the show that we're not going to see in the trailer. It looks like we're focusing on Sauron, which has become the most interesting character in the show, in my opinion. In the last season, he really came into his own as a character, and I do like where they're taking him now. Didn't love the whole Halbrand thing, but they took it to a place where I was like, okay, like, fine. Like, I'm interested to see where this goes from here. Everything with Celebrimbor, as terrible as it was very interesting, and I appreciated the interpretation. I appreciated the adaptation of their relationship from the book to the story in the show. So there was some symbolism in there. There were some things in there that I feel like the creators were like, hey, we're acknowledging details from the book by doing this way. And I did appreciate that. So Sauron, I'm interested in what he's up to, where he's going to go. That's cool. The stuff that's happening in Numenor, I'm so invested. I don't like Muriel that much, the woman who was queen. I guess she's not queen anymore. I think what's-his-face is in charge now. But, like, interested to see what goes with Numenor, because it's still standing. Like, it hasn't been destroyed yet. As we all know, what happens. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Elendil, what is he up to? Love the character of Elendil. Isildur, not so much. I don't care what... I know where Isildur is going to end up. His character was not intriguing enough for me. Really weird that they, like, randomly gave him a girlfriend in the middle of him, like, trying to run away from... so many choices. They brought Ents into the first 2 seasons just pointlessly. There was no reason for them to be there. They had one scene and then they disappeared. That is one thing that I complain about with this show, is that they really just, they felt like they had to put everything in it, but like, you didn't though. You really didn't though. Like, we know it's Lord of the Rings. Like, we understand what universe we're in without having to like have Gandalf in it and have Harfoots in it and have Ents in it, and we know where we are. Like, it's not a mystery. So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the first and second seasons I was not a fan of. There were some things that I was, and I think at the end of the day, I loved Elrond's and Durin's relationship. I love Durin's wife, Disa. She's a very cool character. I like her a lot. So what's going to happen in Khazad-dûm, I'm obviously invested in because they actually have good characters going and building into events and things that are going to happen. So I want to know what's going to happen. Thank you. In Khazad-dûm, and I want to know what's going to happen in Numenor more than I care about what's happening in Middle-earth, although I am very interested to follow Sauron and how they continue to interpret his progression into creating the rings, and then how that starts to infect Middle-earth in general. Was there anything else I was leaving out? So yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do we need to watch it again? Axbeard says, sorry I had a visitor and missed the last 15 minutes. No need to repeat anything for my benefit. Wanted you to know I wasn't ignoring you. Thank you, Axe. I appreciate it. If you are still lurking, appreciation. Feel free to share something good. Also, have you seen this show, Rings of Power, first 2 seasons? Did you watch the trailer? Do you have opinions? You guys give me the opinions. Thank you for not being closed-mouthed about this. I've been dealing with the orcs are people BS in TTRPG circles for 15 plus years, so no, Axe, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm not on board. I'm like, if we were talking about modern cultural representation, if we were talking about, you know, what's the word? Inclusion, if we were talking about all of that stuff, sure. I'm not mad if any person of any race shows up in this show that is a real, like, real world representation of real world situations. The orcs, there is no benefit to humanizing them. There's no point in it. They are fake. They are not real. They are not marginalized. Like, they are literally bred to be evil. And yeah, I can't think of a better example than to say, like, it's literally a Balrog. So when we start to say that the Balrogs are people too, that's how I interpret it. Like, that's what you're saying. These creatures that were literally created by evil for evil. Sorry, they're not people anymore. Yes, they started as elves. That was millennia ago. Literally, this universe is so old and so vast. Even in the Silmarillion, you're talking about decades and decades of time has passed since these things have happened. So it's just like, yeah. Okay. One word, fan edit in 4 years. I didn't make it past season 1. What was your breaking point, Axe? I'm curious. What was your breaking point with the show? Like I said, I just enjoy being in the world and I can just enjoy it for entertainment's sake. Like, your points are totally valid. I agree with you on a bunch of them, but thankfully I can separate. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's what it comes down to is, like, what we all have as individuals is a point where a liberty has been taken so far with the storytelling that we as individuals are getting taken out of the story. So I can't immerse myself in the world, in the universe, which I too also love. I can't engage with it if something seems so egregious, and we all just have different levels of that, right? So for Curse, she can take a lot. She's got a high tolerance for, like, creative liberty in terms of the story, because she's more, you know, her value set's more in the world. But it's funny because we love the world so much, that's why we're mad. You love the world so much, so it doesn't matter, but we love the world so much, that's why we get mad. So it's so interesting. Like I said, just being in... Oh, I already read that. It's been long enough that I don't recall, but I agree with everything you said. Yeah. Like, tell me about Sauron, tell me about the rings. The show is called Rings of Power. That does not include Ents at this point in the story. That does not include Harfoots at this point in the story. That does not include Rune in this part of the story. Fun fact, though, this will be fun for the Potter nerds. The wizard that we saw in this trailer that made you think of Saruman, but he's not, that is the actor, Kieran, what's his last name? Hines, who plays Aberforth, Dumbledore's brother in the Harry Potter films, in the later films. Actually, is he only in Deathly Hallows 1 and 2? He might only be in those 2 films, but Kieran Hines is the actor. He's a legend. He's in so much stuff. He's an incredible actor. He is playing the wizard out of Rune. We don't know who he is right now as of the story in the show. They haven't revealed who he is, but he is a wizard from the land of Rune. And those 3 like witch ladies in the white outfits, they worked for him in the original. And it's like we don't need any of that. What does Rune have to do with anything? It's the Rings of Power. Tell me about the rings, because there's so much there already, you know, where it's like, okay, Sauron is here. And like I said, the stuff they did between him and Celeborn. Axe, I wish you could like muscle your way through to the 2nd season, because when Sauron goes Anatar and then manipulates and gaslights Celebrimbor into helping him create the first 3 rings, the Elven rings, like, oh, it's so good. Like, it's so good. There's so much that they did so well. And, yeah, so it's just like, okay, then Sauron, that's a whole story in and of itself. Sauron, the rings, and then he gives the rings to the elves, the dwarf lords, and the men. Tell us the story of the Rings of Power. That's a whole kingdom of men that we can talk about. That's a whole kingdom of dwarves that we can talk about. That's a whole kingdom of elves that we can talk about. Like, get everybody else out of here. Like, we know it's Lord of the Rings. We don't have to see Tom Bombadil to know it's Lord of the Rings. You don't need to make up for the fact that Tom Bombadil wasn't in the films. It was not a loss. Fight me if you have to. Not having Tom Bombadil in the films was not a loss. It would have been the longest, most pointless, cute, endearing scene, but it just would, out of like, what, 11 hours extended editions of the films, all 3 of them together. It's like, I don't need Tom Bombadil. I'm fine. I'm fine. He has no bearing whatsoever on what happens with the ring. Alright. I get mad, but I don't know the lore well enough for the part of that part of things to bother me. Fair enough. I know that every time I see a still of any dwarf, I get mad that they look so rough, unkept. Oh, I love Durin. I think it's the 3rd. I think it's Durin the 3rd. I could be wrong. But they also take a lot of liberties on the timeline in the show, which would probably drive you crazy too, Axe, if that's not one of the things. So, like the Balrog being there and like all this stuff, it's just like, okay, you guys are they're just throwing everything into the pot. They're just throwing every reference ever into the pot and being like, it happened today. All of this happened today. Anyways, I should revisit it. If I watch it knowing there are inaccuracies and pointless additions, I can still find enjoyment. Yeah, the stuff with Celebrimbor is really cool. And the stuff between Elrond and Durin, their relationship is really fun, very wholesome, but fun, and they have conflict. It's all there. And yeah, the vision of Khazad-dûm as well. I love their interpretation of Khazad-dûm, like in its glory. It wasn't so palatial, but it was massive, and the internal gardens and stuff, like you see how alive it was in Khazad-dûm and all of that. So that's really cool. All right, you guys. So November, should we have a watch party? Memberships. Can we get memberships by November so we can have a watch party for Rings of Power? Here's the thing. I'm not excited. I'm really not. Marcus was like, are we going to watch it? I was like, I don't know. Probably because I have nothing else to watch. That's the thing, is like, I'm so picky. And I don't like a lot of modern media. So I'm going to be probably going to watch it because it's going to be one of the few things that's like not egregiously adult or not egregiously depressing or not egregiously depraved and all the stuff that's like really popular in media right now. So it's like probably I'll probably end up watching it. What about the Harry Potter TV show on HBO? You guys tell me what you think. I know Kirst, I assume, is enthusiastic for it because you're just so open-minded and you're just so accepting. I have mixed feelings, but I'm probably gonna watch it again because it'll be one thing on television I can watch. ROP is what happens when the creators only know Lord of the Rings from the theatrical edits of the Jackson films. I'll have to give them more credit than that. I appreciate the perspective, but I gotta give them more credit than that. They definitely have stuff going on in the show that you would only have represented if you'd read the books. But yeah, it can feel that way. It feels like, not necessarily that's the only information that they had, but they feel like they can't make a a story without including all of the theatrical edits from the Jackson films. It's like, just make the story that's in the book. We know it's Lord of the Rings, that's fine. Okay, so thank you guys for bearing with me. This channel is called Story Mode, which means we are here to enjoy all types of stories, all types of narratives. So that includes books, television shows, video games, the whole shebang. If you guys want to talk about it, we can also ask, hey, did anyone see the Odyssey? Are we excited about it? Are we mad about it? When we're talking about media, we're allowed to have differing opinions. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Thunder says, I don't mind additions to the storyline in the Second Age, like the Harfoots, if it had been grafted in well, but it wasn't, right? It was very jarring. It's very jarring to go from, like, the Greco-Roman halls of Numenor to, like, the grass. Go hang out with the grass people. It was very jarring. And I just don't, it just wasn't, I don't like it. Chris says, I'm in two minds about it. I don't want to, because politics, but also, again, I love the world, so I'm intrigued to see what they do with the longer format of a series instead of a 2-hour movie. Oh, gotcha, Curse. Gotcha. You're talking about the Harry Potter show. Yeah. Yep. I'm not completely serious. Yeah, I get it, though. I get it. I haven't seen Odyssey yet, but I will watch for sure. I love Greek mythology. Right. Marcus went to go see it. He had a whole, like, saga for himself of whether he was going to go see it or not. And he ended up going to see it, and he said a lot of things about it, but mostly that it was good. Mostly that it was good. I did not see it. I also am a fan of Greek mythology, but not necessarily of the sagas. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to sit there for 3 hours to watch that story, because I'm more interested myself in the mythology, specifically about the Roman gods, not necessarily the stories written by Homer and others, what are considered the classics, telling stories of individuals so much. So yeah. The grassy feral prod, it's proto-Smeagol grannies. Yeah. Proto-Smeagol grannies. He watched it in Limax, is what they call it. It's basically, it's formatted for IMAX, but the screen is not a true IMAX screen in terms of size. So if you know what IMAX is, as I'm sure that you do, it's more about aspect ratio. So just having a square movie screen, which I think is the standard, when you're watching something that's meant to be an IMAX, I believe it's more rectangular, obviously larger, but more rectangular, and a little bit taller as well. So he was actually showing me these pictures of the difference between a standard screen, an IMAX screen, and a Limax screen. And the reason they're making such a stink about the IMAX viewings, because there's actually very, very few theaters in this country that have an actual IMAX screen. So people are traveling. Marcus was telling me people are like traveling to go see this movie on a proper IMAX screen. So in the middle. So it's a lie. I love it. It's not a lie. It's not a lie. But to call an IMAX screen that's not actually to scale is a bit of a lie. And I think the standard term for IMAX in more, like in most theaters, is not actually accurate to what the IMAX resolution and all that is. But yeah, not a complete lie, a little bit. All right, let's get into our game, shall we? There's only 2 cinemas in Australia that are true IMAX. Luckily, one is in Melbourne. Nice. Yeah. I saw people getting mad about historical inaccuracies and things like period appropriate Greek armor. I'm like, really? People just want something to be mad at? Yeah. It's weird. I can't sit here and say and mock people for wanting accuracy, because I just did about Rings of Power. So I can't be completely dismissive of people who have certain standards for media that represents something to them. But I feel like the Odyssey as a story and like Lord of the Rings are 2 very different things, not just in terms of like genre, but the Odyssey is a classic. So I feel like when you have something as old as the Odyssey, like to make it for a modern audience, blah, 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 you like have to take a lot of liberties. Like you have to modernize it enough for us to even digest it. It's foreign and it's old. It's ancient. It's not just old, it's ancient. We're not talking about a remake of like Gone with the Wind. We're talking about remaking the story of the Odyssey. So I do feel like something like that should have more grace for the allowances that it has to take to be kind of translated to a modern audience. But at the same time, I'm gonna sit here and rant about inaccuracies in Rings of Power, so it doesn't feel fair. Why are we playing a cutscene right now? Hold on.
Aletheia. That's one of the sub-functions you couldn't detect before.
Yes. The transmission occurred so
Why-
slowly that at
why
first
are-
it seemed like
we
an
already saw
accidental
this.
blip of data amongst background static. Once
Hold
I
on.
noticed this irregularity, it took some time
Thank
to
you,
collate
Cursed.
the complete message.
Thank you, Cursed. Can I skip this? Yes. Okay. This is not where we
Alright.
stopped.
I'll go to the coordinates and check out the source of the transmission.
All by yourself?
Skip. Okay, here we go. I think I shut the game off without saving because I wanted to start at a certain point. Yeah. But we've gotten past this. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. We'll just stand in this cool looking corridor real quick. I saw people getting mad that Lupita is Helen because it's not authentic, but then again, it's a myth legend. It doesn't matter. The game was like, all right, time to start. Yeah, Thunder. Like, I've been waiting. Yeah, lots of drama around the making of the Odyssey. I'm kind of glad that it's performing as well as it is because I'm not a history buff. I don't know everything there is to know, but the idea of Helen of Troy being of African descent is not crazy. It just isn't, because she's not Helen of Troy. She wasn't born there. She was part of an arranged marriage. She could have come from anywhere. She really could have. And what was really cool for me to learn when I was paying more attention to historical, stuff was just how much cross-cultural communication and connection was happening in the ancient world, especially in the Mediterranean, where between trade and like all this other stuff, like it's not out of conception to think that there were people of different races that were not native to Europe or native to, whatever. Anyways, we don't have to get into it, but yeah, it's not actually that crazy. Lupita is stunning, so I'm fine in terms of Helen needing to be beautiful. Marcus said her performance was amazing, and that she had such a minor role in the film. It's also kind of a silly thing to get mad about. It's a silly thing to get mad about because it's so inconsequential to the story as well. I am a history enjoyer. If they want it more authentic, there needs to be more gay in it because the Greeks in mythology were so gay. But why are we expecting historically accurate armor from a work of fiction? Expecting the Odyssey to be real world accurate is not the same as expecting RLP to be Tolkien lore accurate. Okay, I think I see your point. Because, like, Homer, did he not describe in detail what the armor was supposed to look like? Is that kind of the point? Which Tolkien also wasn't terribly descriptive, which doesn't help anybody. He only cared about the trees and the grass and stuff. He didn't, like, describe characters and wardrobe very much. But I see what you mean. Yeah, so it's kind of like if there wasn't... Homer was telling a saga, which was a myth. And if he didn't give really descriptive commentary about what the armor and clothing and stuff was like, then it is kind of open to interpretation. And the assumption is because it's an ancient Greek saga that it should look ancient Greek. So I get where people are making the correlation, but I also see your point. Because it's not technically, like, there's nothing really anchoring it into reality of ancient Greece. Except for, I guess, the characters, some locations, and the mythology associated with it. Lupita does have a face that could launch 1,000 ships. She's a beautiful woman. And an incredible voice. Oh, we need audiobooks by Lupita Nyong'o, please. Okay, different story. We will move on. Hold on, I gotta fix my stuff. This is, now, Horizon Forbidden West. Welcome. Oh my god, I'm so tired of talking already. I wonder if Tolkien would like the Harfoots. They're grassy and tree-ish. The Harfoots are lore accurate, as are the stores So Tolkien would totally be fine with them. I don't know if he would agree with their visual representation. I don't know if he would be like, yeah, this is the style I was thinking of. But he was definitely, like, they're in the books. They are referenced. So they were not fabricated in terms of they existed. They're just forced into the storyline of the TV show, is the only thing. And so that's kind of my point of, like, they just threw all these timelines, like events and times of things kind of into a blender and just pulled out, you know, random things at random times. Kind of like how Celeborn is just not around for the first 2 seasons. Not accurate. He's a real person, but that's not accurate. Agree on her voice? Yes. Love it. Okay. Okay, officially done. All right, I'm going to take a swig of water. Everybody refresh your brain. The world is crazy. History is crazy. Storytelling is difficult. You know who tells a really good story? Guerrilla Games. In the Horizon franchise. Their world building is unmatched. Love it so much. Alright guys, game recap really quickly. We are in Horizon Forbidden West, which is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. The main gist of Horizon Zero Dawn's story is that the world suffered an AI robot apocalypse and was completely destroyed. When Earth knew that it was no longer going to survive, they developed a program called Zero Dawn. Zero Dawn's program was to recreate the Earth literally from a terraforming state. The program would terraform and then recreate the necessary environment for life to be reborn on Earth, the planet itself. So Zero Dawn recreates the biosphere to make it inhabitable, and there was also things included in the program like human genetic material and DNA samples so that they could thanks Cursed, so that they could repopulate with humanity as well. So there was, Earth was facing annihilation. They created basically a computer program built around an AI entity that has sub-functions that was going to bring Earth back to life after all the humans were killed out. Successfully done. However, unexpected events meant that when humanity came back to repopulate the new Earth, they were reduced to a tribal state. And we're not necessarily the first humans, but when we catch up with this main character and what's going on in this world, humans have been reintroduced into the new biosphere and evolved to the point of a tribal status. Okay, so now we have tribal individuals. We are in the kind of the middle and now the west of the United States is where the game is actually taking place. So that's what happens in Zero Dawn. Hold on, I'm going through my brain. That's the story that's told in Zero Dawn. We find out what happened to Earth. We find out that we are the reborn and why things are the way they are, and then we have an enemy to fight. Now we are in Forbidden West, so we believe that we accomplished our ends from the first game, which at the beginning of this game we actually do. So now our story is, hey, this really cool program that was created to re-inhabit the Earth called Zero Dawn, it's broken for reasons. It has been broken, which means the Earth is not sustaining itself in its natural state. We have a blight on the land. We have catastrophic storms and environmental issues. We have just this threatening, the biosphere is out of balance. It's out of whack. So we have a lot of issues that are impacting life, not just human life, but animal life. And at the end of the day, everybody's lives. We're kind of facing another wipeout in the sequel to the game. So our solution is find a backup of the program Zero Dawn and restore the program to its factory settings, as I like to say, so that it can function the way it's supposed to function, bring the biosphere back into balance so that humans can continue to thrive on this new Earth, if you will. So that is the overarching quest that we are on. Aloy is one of these lovely tribal peoples. She is a clone of someone who was alive before the first annihilation, Elizabeth Sobek. So she has DNA access to a lot of technology that was lost in the original human annihilation. And now in this tribal state, she actually has like an edge up on everybody else because she understands technology. She can interface with things. Also Gaia, because she's a clone of Elizabeth and Elizabeth created Zero Dawn, which the term Gaia and Zero Dawn are kind of interchangeable at this point. Gaia knows her and she can work with her so that they can resolve this issue. So basically we're trying to restore Zero Dawn to its original function to save the world again, is our overarching goal. At the moment, we have reactivated Gaia and we have returned 2 of her sub-functions. The sub-functions are parts of the program that control certain elements of the Earth. You can actually think about them in terms of Greek mythology. They are also named after characters of Greek mythology. So you have a character named Hephaestus, who is a sub-function of Gaia. Gaia, of course, was the primordial existence in Greek mythology that everything was thus born of, so it kind of makes sense that she's kind of the top of the program. She's the AI that runs everything. Hephaestus is a sub-function. Guess what his function is? His function is to make stuff. Just like the Hephaestus of Greek mythology was the legendary smith, the Hephaestus of Zero Dawn is the builder. He's the one who makes the machines, so on and so forth. So we have 9 total sub-functions. We need to restore all of them to the program to save the world. So far, we have restored 2 of them. So we have a lot of work ahead of us. That's our main overall objective. Sub-storyline, because this is a dense game, sub-storyline is, what's our first sub-storyline? There's several. Okay, first sub-storyline, because it is closely related to the events of Zero Dawn. There's a group of people that have suddenly appeared in our world here. We are in the western, we're like in California right now in this game. So there's a group of people that have arrived. They are referred to as the Zeniths. They are descendants of a group of people who did the Mars colonization thing for the original apocalypse. When Earth was going to be destroyed, they were like, we're going to build a spaceship, we're going to go find another planet to live on, and we're going to make that work. And they did. So there's a group of people, the rich, the famous, the elite, that got on a spaceship, took off, made it to a different star system, inhabited a planet over there. For reasons unknown to us, 1,000 years later, they've come back to Earth. And we believe it is their descendants because, again, it's been 1,000 years since the events of the original ending of the world. So they're back. They're super powerful. They're super advanced. They have all the technology. They have just everything. And we've had one encounter with them, and I barely survived. So they are a subplot to us trying to achieve our goals. We have the Zeniths now that are also seem to be after the same thing we are. They are after Gaia. They are after the program Zero Dawn. So they are literally like, we're kind of racing each other to see who gets a completed program first. And that's all we know so far. So there's lots of details and context within that story. But at this point in Forbidden West, we've just been introduced to them. And Gaia has surmised what their intentions are. So that's a sub-story that's kind of hovering above our heads as we're running around in the wild, trying to find these missing subordinate functions. The sub-story below that one that is happening right alongside it is the term Forbidden West. The Forbidden West is California, Nevada, and Utah, I think. And it is forbidden because there is a tribe called the Tanakh. They're extremely violent and extremely territorial. So most people cannot just travel through the west of the country because these violent, aggressive territorial individuals are like, heck no, you guys know, like, we'll just kill you straight out. So the Tanakh are an issue. We have gained right of passage from the Tanakh to travel the west, so we technically have permission. But it can't be that easy. So we have a clan within the Tanakh. There's like 4 or 5 clans, I think. There's a clan within the Tanakh that are rebelling against the rule of the chief, the high chief, if you will, who runs the entire tribe. He basically is like the president, and then he's got marshals that represent each of the clans. And so he like kind of has built this authority structure within the tribe to keep everybody communicating, have representatives for all the clans, be more diplomatic, basically build a bit of a government system. But he's doing it with good intention, and he's doing it to keep his people unified, because the clans will run amok if they all decide to break off and do their own thing. So he's kind of promoting unity and, hey, let's all work together and let's all communicate, and this is going to be great. So he's trying to do this, but there is a clan that's like, hey, no way. We don't want peace with other tribes. We don't want to give up our territory. We don't want to allow outsiders to travel through our lands, yada, yada, yada. My name is Regala, and I'm not for this, so I'm going to lead a bunch of rebels to attack everything that the High Chief is trying to do within the Tenakth tribe. So I'm sure that's extremely confusing. You guys honestly have been here through most of it, so you know what's going on. But I always feel like I got to recap, especially if anybody pops in for the first time, watching the VOD, afterwards or whatever. So we have helped the High Chief of the Tenakth replace his marshals. A bunch of stuff has happened. We basically supported the High Chief in his goals. So now we have Regala, the rebel, to deal with. So not only do we have these Zeniths to worry about, they're also kind of being an issue for us. We have these rebel Tenakth that are being an issue for us. And it's kind of interesting because in Zero Dawn, we had a rebel clan of Karja. So I'm starting to see a pattern here I didn't catch before. Like, we're kind of regurgitating the story a little bit from the first game. So it's kind of like, hey, overall, the person in charge of this big tribe is trying to do the right thing and make peace. But there's always like a little pocket of extremists, right? Who are just like, no, we don't want peace. We don't want diplomacy. We want to kill everybody. So funny that I never made that connection before between the Shadow Karja and the Rebel Tenakth. But anyways, I digress. We're going to start today's playthrough, episode 7, by getting more acquainted with our base right here. This is basically a bunker in a mountain that we discovered. This is where Gaia's program is being housed at the moment, our version of her program. So this is our base of operations. So when we go to look for subfunctions, this is where we're searching out of, and this is where we come back to. So I want to get to know the area, kind of the building we're in, a little bit better. I also want to have a brief conversation, hopefully brief, with some of our main characters. Because we've been introduced to everybody, but we haven't really had like a good conversation. And I feel like we're at a point in the game where we need to kind of connect a little bit and get everybody, on the same page. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to explore the bunker a little bit. And here we are.
I was able to unlock another room in the main living area.
Good to know. I'll check it out when I can.
Okay. And while we're in this facility, as Gaia is slowly rebuilt, her program rebuilt, she's able to access more and more areas. So there are some doors that we cannot get into. I think this might be one of them.
Gotta go after Eleuthia.
Yeah.
Erend and Varl are waiting for me at the west exit.
So like this door isn't going to open, but it will at a later date. This is our second time coming back to the bunker. So myself, Varl, and Vo, who are the first people I'm going to catch up with, found this place. They stayed behind while I went and I found Eleuthia. I'm sorry, I found Aether. They stayed behind and kind of made it a little bit more homey. So this is obviously just a big metal facility. It's inside of a mountain, so it really is like a bunker, and all of that good stuff. So that's where all of the candles and other fun furniture and decor have come from.
We've gathered some supplies in that chest. Take what you need.
Okay, so I do have a quest activated. That is not the menu that I want. Let's take a look real quick. It is a main quest. Cradle of Echoes. Gaia has picked up a distress signal seemingly sent by Eleuthia, another of her missing subordinate functions. With help from Erend and Varl, Aloy must investigate. Okay, so I am set up to leave with Erend and Varl before... Hold on, game recap, go away. Before we do that, though, I want to talk to Vo. And I'm just going to go in order of when these characters are introduced into the game. So Varl is first, but he's, like, if I talk to him, I'm going to start the quest. So we can't talk to Varl right now. I'm going to talk to Zoe, because she was the next one we added to the party. Hey, girl.
Varl looks happy about his training partner.
Learning is best done together.
Have you gone back to Plainsong at all?
I thought about it, but I wouldn't know what to tell them. The chorus already thinks me a thorn in the thicket. If they knew what we did to Fa, even if they understood, there'd be little they could grasp about all this. No. For now, I must leave the tribe behind.
Okay. So Zoe is from a tribe called the Utaru. And there's a bunch of events in, I want to say, episode 4, maybe episode 3. If you want to know exactly what happened, you can follow the playthrough in the video. But her tribe had a certain belief system, and because of all of the weirdness with Zero Dawn and Gaia, we actually had to kind of break through in order to gain access to something that we really needed to move forward. Like, that's why these are all sub stories of what's actually going on, because again, the main objective of this game is to restore the Zero Dawn program, which is Gaia, the AI that runs it, and all of her sub functions which control different elements of the biosphere. So that's our overarching thing. So at the end of the day, like, if we got to step on some toes of the modern people, if we've got to be a little bit offensive, if we've got to like push boundaries of propriety, we're going to do that, because our mission is literally to save the world. And people like the Utaru tribe are not going to understand that, because they have no idea about Zero Dawn. They have no idea about previous. They don't even know that like they're the new humans on the new Earth. All of these people basically were born, evolved, and now they are living whatever life would normally take, the direction it would take. So they're extremely unaware of things. So that's what Zoe is talking about. She's like, I wouldn't even know what to tell my people about what's happening. This is so crazy. How do I explain it to them? So yeah, let's see. Your training, companions, the Zeniths, the Utaru. Let's talk about her tribe a little bit. You and the chorus.
I've been meaning to ask, what's the deal with you and the chorus? You didn't seem to be on the best of terms.
That's what happens when you're the one Utaru who insists on publicly defying them. Twice. When the Karja invaded the Utaru plains, they did more than just attack our villages. They burned our fields, took our people as slaves, and murdered those who were too weak to make the trip back to Meridian.
To be sacrificed in the Sun Ring.
I was helping the healers back then, as waves of refugees swarmed into Plainsong. The chorus was divided in how to face the invaders. Some saw sense in raising arms. Others believed the dishes would keep us safe, as they had many times before. And while they bickered, I buried the seeds of the fallen.
Okay. So she's referencing the fact that her tribe, so I don't know if I want to tell all of the story, but a pivotal point in history of this game is the Karja Red Raids. The Karja are a tribe that are the most advanced civilization of this game, and the generation before this one, the king before the king that is now the king of Karja, the old king, he was insane, and he raided every other tribe in existence, took captives, and sacrificed them to his god. So the Mad Sun King is what they refer to him as, very Game of Thrones. The Mad Sun King would basically victimize all of the tribes. So Zoe is explaining the conflict when the Karja came to the Utaru, which means the Karja came all the way to the west. They are a tribe that we met in the first game, so they are kind of in the main accepted landscape over there, but now we're on the west end of the country, and so even the Utaru tribe were victims of the Mad Sun King. So she's basically saying, I'm a bit of a revolutionary in my tribe because I have opposing opinions to basically our council. The chorus is a council of people that make decisions for the tribe, and they are very stuck in their ways. They're stuck in their religion. They're stuck in their traditions more than anything else. And so Zoe is saying, hey, I'm a little bit of a rebel. I'm a bit of a revolutionary. I think that we should protect ourselves. I think that we should defend ourselves. I think that we should take a more active approach to our survival, whereas traditionally the Utaru are very passive and kind of trust in the dishes. She said the dishes will protect them. I think there's like this field outside of Plainsong, which is their capital. It kind of looks like a solar farm. I'm wondering if those are just like defenses, basically like barricades. And so they have this concept of like, we're safe behind our walls in a sense. I don't know if we're going to dig into that anymore, but yeah, so the Utaru, the leadership of their tribe right now is still very traditionally minded, and then their whole approach to things is like, hey, if we die, we die, because they are a very agricultural, plant-based society, which means they believe in the cycle of life, as in life, death, and rebirth. So they actually, all warriors, actually all Utaru, I think, carry a packet of seeds on their person, like throughout their entire lives, and when they die, the tradition is to bury them with that seed packet, and then like the plant that comes of the seed is representative of kind of them being reborn. So basically they're like, we're not going to defend ourselves. We don't have to because we have a protective shield. But hey, if we die, we're just going to be reborn anyway, so we accept it. And Zoe is like, hey, I think we might want to be a little more on the offensive. I think we want to be a little more active in our own survival. So she's not a popular character with her leadership. The land gods.
I was hoping you could tell me more about the land gods.
For generations, they provided for us. Seeding and harvesting the fields of Plainsong. Food for all. A miracle of endless bounty. A blessed land, providing sustenance for my people. Until the derangement. They had always enriched the soil, but for several seasons they have glutted it endlessly with mulch. At least now I know why. The repair bay below was meant to renew them. Without it, they became sick. That is why I must find a way to heal them before my people starve.
Cool. Okay, this actually wraps around to some important story beats here. So the land gods are machines. I forget what exactly they're called, the actual title of the machine, but they are a machine that cultivates the earth, plants seeds, and collects harvest, just like she said. So when Zero Dawn as a system incorporated a program or a subfunction like Hephaestus, who makes things, he built machines that basically became an alternative ecosystem for the new Earth when it was reborn. Before living animals were reintroduced into the environment, robots, basically machines, were providing the ecosystem elements to support life and development of life in the biosphere. So it's a really cool kind of concept. So basically these machines were created by Hephaestus to till the land and to reintroduce fauna, into the world, basically to bring life in terms of plants and other things like that back into the biosphere. So the land gods have been a machine that the Utaru tribe have coexisted with for as long as they can remember. And they have basically farmed alongside these machines. The machines were always docile, and the machines were extremely efficient and productive in terms of agriculture, farming. So she was saying we used to have like a land of abundance, and now the land gods are falling into disrepair because, again, we have a problem with our system, Zero Dawn. The top tier quest that we're on is to restore the system because things aren't working the way that they used to work. So these machines are not working the way that they used to work, which means that we are in danger. Her people are in danger of starving because they can't get stuff to grow, and the machines are actively working against them now instead of with them to make this happen. Plus the things that I mentioned before, environmental issues, a blight on the land. So there's basically like a virus that's kind of infecting all plant life, and just crazy weather and like other things affecting how much the earth can actually function in terms of that. So hello, James Money 615, welcome in. Yeah, so the land gods are machines that used to help provide, and now they're actually kind of ruining what the Utaru are trying to recover as far as their crops and sustenance. So she's like, hey, you've opened my eyes, I understand what this all is now, but I have to find a way to fix the land gods. I have to fix these machines so that we can like save my tribe, basically. So that's going to be a story beat that we're going to come back to, so it's good for us to have that information.
So how does a tribe like the Utaru manage to maintain the peace with warriors like the Tenakth?
By holding them off. When our fields bloomed aplenty, the Tenakth looked upon our lands with envy. But Plainsong's dishes provided sanctuary and high ground to keep invaders at bay. In the end, even the Tenakth saw sense in a truce. The Utaru promised to provide the Tenakth with food from our crops every year. In exchange, the Tenakth would relinquish one of their own, a veteran, to train the Utaru in combat.
Ooh.
This custom was abandoned a few years after the derangement. But some veterans still remain in the plains.
Interesting. I don't remember this tidbit. Friendly reminder, this is my second playthrough of this game. I played it when it first came out, and then I played the DLC when it first came out, but this is only my second full playthrough. So some of the stuff I A, didn't catch, or B, I just don't remember, because again, I played it when it came out, which was a hot minute ago. But yeah, so she's actually telling us that the reason the Utaru and the Tenakth tribe, which I have described as extremely territorial and violent, have managed to broker a peace, is she's basically like, hey, we exchanged services, like we paid them tribute in a sense. Again, she mentioned those dishes, that what I describe as a solar farm. We'll probably look at them. We may go back to Plainsong at some point, and you'll get a visual for what that was. But she's basically like, Plainsong is pretty well defended, so it was a lot of work for the Tenakth to try to break in and take over. So we decided on a truce, because for them it wasn't worth the effort, and for us, we just didn't want, like, we just want to defend ourselves, but we're not a threat to them. So we submitted by offering them a tribute of crops. And then they actually, there was an exchange of services where the Tenakth would send a retired soldier or warrior to the Utaru to train their people how to fight, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me because A, the Utaru don't want to fight anybody. They just want to be safe by magic, pretty much. And then why would the Tenakth educate a tribe to potentially rise up against them? So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't remember her talking about this. I'm sure it happened in my first playthrough. But yeah, that's an interesting thing that they basically paid tribute to the Tenakth to keep the peace. So that's a good question to ask. Like, hey, you're in the Forbidden West. Your people have lived here for generations. How are you making this work with the Tenakth? So that's good insight there. Okay, I'm not going to ask her what a Gravesinger is, because I know Zoe's function within her tribe is that of a Gravesinger, which simply means that they're also very musical, and they express kind of their spirituality through music. Like, they have their laws and traditions, but they kind of express their spirituality through music. So she sings as people pass. It's pretty self-explanatory, a Gravesinger. So it's a function that she serves within her tribe. So we know what that is. I don't need to ask her about it. Okay. So we asked about the Utaru. I'm not going to ask her about the Zeniths. I explained basically what they are. She may be doing some research on her own as a character in this setting to learn, a bit more about them, but Zoe wasn't really around for that whole encounter. So her information I don't think is going to be super valid right now. I could ask her about her training. Basically, these guys are hanging out here in the bunker, getting acclimated to understanding how the world is really working, understanding what Zero Dawn is. They're learning about the Pharaoh plague that wiped out the Earth. They are learning about the Zero Dawn program that re-terraformed the Earth and made it viable for humans to come back to. They are learning all of the stuff that Aloy's kind of known for a while now. So they're catching up to her, basically. That's what their, quotes, training is more education than anything else. Let's ask her how it's going with everybody else in the bunker here.
You've spoken with Kotalo?
A few words. Tenakth don't have much use for us outsiders. You must have made quite the impression for him to offer his fealty.
Okay, so only mentioning Kotalo, we're going to talk to him as well. Okay, I think that's it for that. So here's our just connection point with Zoe real quick. Talk about her, how she's doing right now at this point in the game, what she's thinking about, what she's planning on doing. So we learned a little bit about the Utaru. We learned a little bit about their relationship with the Tenakth. Her concern about the land gods, the machines. Her kind of what she's focused on right now is finding a solution to the land gods to restore them, and so she can save her tribe, basically, because they are facing kind of starvation. So that's where Zoe is right now.
Right, I should probably go.
Is it true you're investigating a signal coming from one of Gaia's seedlings?
Maybe. We'll know for sure when we check it out.
Be careful.
We will.
Cool, so that is Zoe. A little more connection with her. Again, I can't talk to Varl or Aaron because they are part of the quest we're about to go on, so I think I only have Kotalo to talk to. He's the only other person here in at the base camp, if you will. He is in one of these rooms.
Door's locked until Gaia can restore access.
Where are you? Kotalo. He's not in here.
Unbelievable.
Not in here. My gosh, so many rooms. Not in there. There he is. Let's go talk to my dude, Kotalo.
Aloy.
It's good to see you. I'm guessing you've got a lot of questions?
I've been told of our enemy and their intentions. Your friends showed me to the vision you keep in this place. Gaia, and gave me this focus. I don't pretend to fully understand everything, but all I really need to know is where to train and when to fight.
Welcome to the team, then.
All right, so we really got to know Katalo in the last episode. If you guys want to meet him and understand what he's doing here, go check out the last episode, episode 6 of the playthrough. That will let you know how he's kind of come to join the party. Now, he is a Tenakth warrior. He is actually a marshal, which means he is a governing head of one of the clans. But he's kind of walked away from the tribe, I should say, for now, to help me with my overall goal, which again is restoring Gaia, restoring the Zero Dawn program. So he's here to lend his support, his skill, and all of that. So we're gonna get to know him a little bit. Let's ask him about the Tenakth, just like we asked about the Utaru with Zoe. You in the Sky Clan. So he grew up in the Sky Clan. That is not his clan that he currently is marshal of, but this is a little bit of his backstory.
You said the Bulwark was your home a long time ago. That you were part of the Sky Clan.
Yes.
That's all you're gonna tell me?
Fine. As you wish. My parents were killed in a clan skirmish, so I was raised by my squad. As I grew older, I came to be known as an accomplished fighter. Tekote took a special interest in me. I fought by his side against the Karja, and led my squad on a dangerous climb into the Daunt. It was I who opened the gates at Barren Light from the east side, allowing the Tenakth to raise it.
That must have gotten you some attention.
Indeed. I was welcomed home as a hero, and I was content.
Then why'd you leave?
I became a marshal.
Cool. So he was born in the Sky Clan of the Tenakth tribe. His parents were killed at an early age, so he was kind of raised by military, really. And he was part of a raid on Barren Light, which is a settlement of the Karja. I mentioned the Karja before. They conducted those red raids where the Mad Sun King was capturing members of other tribes to use as sacrifices to his god. So basically the Tenakth fought back. They struck a mighty blow at a settlement called Barren Light, and Katalo was part of that raid. So he was welcomed back, of course, to his tribe as a hero, you know, because he went and he dealt a blow against the Karja. Every tribe in this game has beef with the Karja. They all hate them for obvious reasons, and are always trying to kind of one up, and there's a lot of distrust and a lot of conflict. Still to this day, the new Sun King is trying to make amends. He's trying to change the Karja's relationship with everybody, but it's a long, difficult road to travel. So interesting. So then Katalo became a marshal of the Tenakth. You have to do that in a trial by combat to earn your place as a leader of a clan. So let's ask him about that process.
Why did you leave the Sky Clan to become a marshal?
I was sent to the Kulrut by Tekote. Back then, I would have obeyed his every order. I believed in him, like one would a father. I was too blind to see the fear in his eyes. Fear of a rising young warrior challenging his command of the clan. I returned a hero from the battle at Barren Light. But to him, I was only a threat. Never occurred to him that I had no interest in rising above my station.
Interesting. Okay, so Tekote is the current marshal, who is the head of the Sky Clan, which is, of course, where Katalo was born into. So when he came back from his raid on Barren Light, the Karja, when he came back and everybody was applauding him and he was kind of being recognized, his leader, Tekote, the current marshal, was starting to get intimidated and thought that Katalo might overthrow him. So the way that the marshals are selected is I don't know how often. It kind of doesn't make sense because some marshals are going to outlive others, and I don't know if there's like an age where once you get to a certain age you can't be a marshal anymore, you retire out. But they seem to always have, the reason it's weird is because they have this organized event called the Kulrut. It's a trial by combat, and it implies that a group, like 1 or 2 maybe from every clan, kind of gets sent to go take part in this trial to see which of them come out of it a marshal, because if you take down a machine in the trial, you earn the rank of marshal. So it's a little bit weird because it's like, well, there can't always be a group of like 5 to 10 people because not every clan has to replace their marshal at the same time. So that's maybe a little bit of a story loophole. They might address it at some point in the game. But basically, when Katalu proved himself, you know, a considerable warrior, Tekote, his chief, basically was like intimidated and concerned about him. So he chose Katalu as one of the challengers to send to this event called the Cool Route, where these people compete for the right to be marshals. So we're gonna find out how this all went.
Why did Tekote think you wouldn't be a threat to him if he sent you to the Cool Route?
Tekote knew that if I survived the Cool Route, I'd be forced to forsake the clan to serve the Tenakth as a whole. I'd never be allowed to challenge his command, even if I wanted to. After our victory at Barren Light, Tekote spoke to our people, said it would be selfish to rob Hikaru and the marshals of a warrior like myself. Even though he knew perfectly well I had no intention of ever leaving. It was exile, guised as an honor. One he knew I couldn't refuse. So I became a marshal, and never looked back.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
I am not. Though it pained me at the time, a marshal is what I was destined to be.
Interesting. Okay. Then I have a complete misunderstanding of how how these things work in terms of the Tenakth tribe. So what's weird is that I thought Tekote was a marshal. Like, I thought the leaders of each clan within, there's like the Lowlands clan, there's the Sky clan, they're all kind of named after natural specifics of nature. I thought that the leaders of each of those clans were the marshals, but now Katalu is saying there's the clan leaders, and then there's a level of government above them, and I guess that's the marshals, who are more closely connected to Hikaru, which is the high chief over the entire tribe. So maybe this is a little bit different than I thought it was. But all that matters is Tekote, the leader of the Sky Clan where Katalu was born, basically forced him to move up the ranks so that he was no longer in and of the Sky Clan. He had to go outside of the clan to fulfill his duties once he reached a certain level of authority. And that was going to protect Tekote's power. So, like, interesting. Very, very interesting. The Wings of the Ten, we saw this in the last episode again. If you guys want to go see it, check it out. Episode 6, we learn what the Ten are. They're basically a squadron of American soldiers that the Tenakth have stumbled upon their history. The squadron of soldiers, which I believe fought in the final battle right before Earth was annihilated, kind of the first time. So anyways, the Ten, they have these holographic records of the actions of the Ten. The Tenakth, as a uncivilized tribe, for lack of a better term, came across these holograms, took them as like history, which they are, and decided to build kind of their cultural structure around the Ten and the story of the Ten. Now, since the Ten were a squadron of 10 soldiers, the Tenakth have become a warrior clan. Like, they are a warrior tribe because they base everything that they do, their culture, their expectations of individuals, like basically everybody's kind of a military type of person. They're all trained in combat, kind of thing. So anyways, the Wings of the Ten, that's just the story of the squadron. That's basically a history that the Tenakth have adopted to build their culture around. And that's why they're all kind of military based, warrior type of tribe. And then there's some details in there that are really fun, but we call those out in the last episode as well. So let's ask him about Chief Hikaru, because I am interested in the High Chief, Katalu's relationship with him, and how Katalu is going to move forward in his relationship with him, because he's kind of, like, Katalu is obviously bailed in a sense on the Tenakth, and he's come to be with us. So I'm interested to see if he says anything about, like, what his plans are when we finish, when we win, when we accomplish our goal. So let's see what he has to say about Chief Hikaru.
What did Chief Hikaru say when you told him he'd be joining me here?
Oh, perfect.
You spilt rebel blood at the Grove and helped reunite the clans. There was little more to be said. He understood.
Well, I'm honored he lent me his best marshal. At least for a little while.
Indeed.
Okay, that's exactly the question I wanted answered, is like, how did Hikaru take this? Because you kind of just bailed on your tribe to come hang out with me. Okay, so basically Aloy's actions in the last episode have garnered her a lot of respect and consideration with Hikaru, the High Chief of the Tenakth. So when Kitalo expressed the desire to support her in her mission, Hikaru was like, yeah, she's doing important stuff, go help her. And also it helps that in the last episode we did fight ourselves. We actually fought to support the coal route to happen so that Hikaru could restaff. So Hikaru basically has his martial structure back, and so we helped facilitate that happening. So now Hikaru is in a more secure place in his authority, so Kitalo can kind of step away. So, alright, very cool. Companions. I'm not gonna, again, same reason, I'm not gonna ask him about the Zeniths. He has no idea who they are outside of what he's learning from Gaia if he's asking her about them. And his training is exactly that, same as Zoe. They're all here just hanging out, just gobbling up information to try to understand where things really lie and kind of what's really at stake outside of their own individual narratives. So I will ask him the companion question, just like I asked Zoe how he's getting along with everyone else.
What do you think of our squad?
They seem eager to fight. Though I admit it is strange to see an Utaru in the ranks. Farmers don't make for effective soldiers.
She seemed pretty effective when she took out the machines that were guarding this base.
Interesting. Perhaps I am mistaken.
Nice. Yeah, so again, the Tenakth and the Utaru have that kind of historical relationship where the Utaru just kind of placates the Tenakth, like keep the peace by providing them with crops and stuff. So he doesn't know Utarus to actually be warriors. But yeah, I mean, Zoe she had a bow and arrow and she was taking out machines when we got here. So that's really cool of Kitalo to kind of be open-minded and be like, all right, well, maybe I was wrong about the Utaru. So they're only talking about each other. They're not talking about Varl and Erend, and that's fine. So this is all I wanted to do here. One more thing.
I should go. Feel free to check in on Hikaru and your people. Door's always open here.
I will. I overheard that Varl and Erend are to accompany you on a mission. Do you require my assistance?
I'd rather have you and Zoe guard the base while we're away.
It shall be done. May the Ten walk with you.
Cool. All right. So yeah, we are really close to Plainsong, and we are really close to, what is the Tenakth city that we were in? We're kind of close to Tenakth territory. We're in Tenakth territory as well. So both Zoe and Kitalo are citizens, if you will, of the Forbidden West. So they can go visit home pretty easily. It's not too far away. All right. One more thing I want to do while we're here. Is this where I do it?
Looks like someone's made this space their own.
Nope.
I see you found Varl and Zoe's room, Aloy. I believe they wanted...
I wondered.
Oop. They wanted privacy.
Looks like Gaia was able to unlock that door.
As you guys know, if you've been with me for this playthrough, Varl and Zoe are like absolutely a couple. So they have decided to shack up, for lack of a better term. So they're sharing a room. Erend and Kitalo are in the bunk room. And this is the last thing that I really want to touch while we're here before we take off on our next quest.
Looks like someone's rearranged stuff in here.
Aloy, I see you found your room. Your companions thought you would appreciate a private space of your own.
That was thoughtful of them.
Okay, cool. So this is Aloy's room. This is our room. And Varl and Zoe put this together for me because they were being considerate, and they're like, we should get Aloy her own space. And there's plenty of room in the bunker. So what's cool about this room is there's lots of little trinkets and things to remind her of home, of the embrace where she comes from. I've got a stash in here as well, so if I need to go through my inventory, pick up any useful items or anything like that, I do have a stash in this room. But there's some details in here, and I want to check these out because these are Aloy's backstory. And I want to just pay attention to this real quick while we're here.
This is the rite of passage that Vashav gave me at the embassy. I liked him. seemed like a good man. I think he was really looking forward to going home.
Okay, so that's a little memory there. So that's a little dagger, as you can see on the countertop here. And this was the token given us by a marshal of the Tanakh named Fashav. He was actually a Karja who was captured by the Tanakh, but made such a good impression on Chief Haruko that he was basically, instead of being a captive of theirs as a Karja, he was brought into the fold and ended up becoming a marshal. So Fashav was going to become a bit of an ambassador between the Karja and the Tanakh. However, at our first peace summit that we kind of all do together at the front of this game between the Karja and the Tanakh, Fashav is unfortunately killed by the rebels who show up to break up that peace assembly. So this was something that he gave me that I could show to any marshal or any clan or chief or whatever and be like, hey, I was given a token, here's a physical token of my permission to travel through the Forbidden West. So that is a significant piece of equipment, and I don't know why it's sitting here on the counter and not in my pocket, but whatever. Alright, let's look at this. A bow and arrow looks like.
My old spear. Rust helped me make it. And I finished my training. Feels like so long ago now.
Okay, so we're not talking about the bow and arrow here. We're talking about the spear that's on the side. Aloy was an outcast of her tribe, and she was raised as an infant, like literally as a newborn. She was outcast. And a man named Rost, who was also an outcast, she was given to him for him to raise and like look after as exiles from the tribe. So her only human contact connection source of information was this man named Rost. So he was, in all intents and purposes, her father, and raised her, trained her to be a hunter, helped her to prepare for the proving, to gain her right to be a part of the tribe. Again, the Nora tribe we're talking about. So this is now a family heirloom. It was a spear that we used to use before we upgraded, and she said it's a spear that Rost helped her make. So this is a memory of her father, for lack of a better term. He really was her father, again, really at the end of the day. So this is a memorial to him. A little memory. So yeah, all these little trinkets have a bit of Aloy's story in them. And I think we've got one or two more. Let's look at this one.
I've been carrying Elizabeth's pendant with me for months. But since we're gonna stay a while, I think I'll keep it here, where it'll be safe.
Okay. So you guys can't see it in super detail, but you can probably see a little ball, kind of, at the bottom of this little stand. It is a necklace, and the little ball is actually Earth. It's the planet Earth, just like a little necklace. And this belonged to Elizabeth Sobek, who was the scientific brain who created the Zero Dawn program to bring Earth back to life once humanity had been wiped out. Aloy, as I mentioned before, is a perfect genetic clone of Elizabeth Sobek. So in a sense, she is Elizabeth reincarnated. She's considers Elizabeth a bit of a mother because she now knows of her. Of course, they've never met because Elizabeth died 1,000 years ago. But she has seen holographic images. She has seen Elizabeth interact in these holograms with other people. And now that she knows the trajectory of what happened on Earth and what happened with Zero Dawn, she has a better grasp of who Elizabeth was. And Gaia, the AI that is the head of the Zero Dawn program, Gaia was made by Elizabeth as well. And actually, Elizabeth trained her AI, as we do train AI now too, trained her to understand humanity by basically befriending her. So Gaia is like a friend of Elizabeth's because Elizabeth created her and basically raised her in a sense. So Aloy and Gaia also have a bit of a connection. They're not super buddy-buddy right now, but it's kind of cool to see that come full circle. So anyways, this pendant belonged to Elizabeth, long story short, and Aloy has been carrying it with her for a while now. She says she's going to leave it here to keep it safe. So that's a little pendant of Earth. We looked at Dad's spear. We looked at Mom's necklace. We looked at our rite of passage through Tanakh territory. And I think that's it. So yeah, this was the last thing I wanted to do here in the bunker. So we can move on with our questing. We've touched base with Zoe, we've touched base with Katalo, we've got a little bit of a better understanding of them as individuals and their backstories. You guys ready?
There she is. You ready to head out?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Look at us. 3 battle-hardened badasses forging into the unknown. This ought to be good.
I know my friend Kirst is on mute right now because she's gonna work. Oh, she's here! Kirst is here. You're probably just seeing him. I was gonna shout out Aaron for you that he is pretty positive. I do appreciate his positivity.
This distress call had to be up a really steep mountain, huh?
Kirst. Soon. Oh, here we are.
Vermin.
Dang.
What is that? What the hell?
Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh no!
Well, that takes the keg.
Thank you, Aaron.
Burrow, see if there's anything over there.
On it.
We'll check out the battlefield. Let's start with that zenith.
Okay, well, that was
obviously more zeniths than we know about.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe you fought one of them.
Almost didn't make it.
I'm gonna let them finish their conversation. Do you guys see the snow right now? How incredibly snowy is this snow? Like, I just need to have a moment that, like, this is real snow right now. Like, the texture of it, I wish I could zoom in. Like, look at that. Oh, the graphics in this game are so good. And just friendly reminder, I'm playing this on the 4. I'm not even playing this on the PS5 right now. It's incredible. Okay, so we just saw a very important thing unfold in front of us. I like how we didn't try to help. There were Tanakh warriors, there were Oseram with a ballista, and there was a Zenith, and they were all fighting each other. So we're going to look at the Zenith. These are the people I was talking about. We believe that they're the descendants of the people who fled Earth on a spaceship to colonize another planet. They've come back to Earth now that it's been reborn. I mean, a good chunk of time after it's been reborn, but hey, they're back. What the heck? And they seem to be doing exactly what we're doing and trying to re-establish the Zero Dawn system for themselves. So let's take a look at her.
Whatever the rebels did, it took down her shield. But why was she here? I can access her last communication file, but I'll use my focus to scan the battlefield too.
What about that crazy weapon the Zenith had?
It looked like she can make it come and go at will. But it's gone now.
Yeah. Well, go do your thing. I'll wait here.
He said go do your thing. He means use your focus. It's a piece of technology that we're actually wearing on our ear. And my favorite way to describe it is it's an X-ray machine for the world. So basically I can engage this piece of technology and it will scan everything around me and highlight things of interest. It'll also provide me with information about certain things. So it's basically a computer and an X-ray machine all at once. And so...
What a mess.
What a mess, Aaron. So this is a Zenith that we have not encountered, this woman here. I have met 3 of them. One of them tried to kill me. And this was not one of them. So that's why Aloy said, hey, there must be more Zeniths that we don't know about. So this is a person that we have not met. She also mentioned that whatever the Oseram weapon was, that was basically like a big crossbow up there, more like a ballista. She said it took down her shield. What's important to know is that these Zeniths all have body shields or force fields protecting them from all harm. So the guy that I was fighting who attacked me, he had a shield I couldn't penetrate with any weapon, so it was an extremely unfair fight. He didn't seem to mind all that much. But yeah, so it's important to note that they have a shield that makes them impervious to physical harm. Her name is Verbena, apparently, like the flower. And this is the remains of a machine that the Zeniths created. They are referred to as specters, and they are problematic. It is highlighted. Okay, here we go. Examine specter. These guys are problems.
The specter had instructions to assist recovery of the asset. I wonder what this asset is.
Ooh. I might know what the asset is. I might know. I played this game once. Alright. What else am I supposed to look for? So her verbal prompt was to search the battlefield for information. So we found the specter. Let me see. Can I can't harvest any parts from him. Can I harvest parts from... What is this? Oh, this looks like a sawtooth, maybe.
It's kind of chilly up here.
Doesn't look like I can harvest. They must have took him out. Can't harvest anything from that. Alright. Is there anything else? Use my focus. Look at the battlefield. There's like a bird over here. A crow. We can always shoot him if we want to. We don't need to. Any other details? Let's go around this rock real quick. Where we came up. Anything that's purple, as you guys can tell, is something I generally want to take a look at. And fortunately for me, my focus will see these things at quite a distance. So through a rock and at a distance, this is telling me there are supply crates over there, which are not part of the investigation. That's Varl over there. You can see his physical outline through that rock. He's investigating an area I told him to look at. There's another supply cache over here, so... Friendly reminder as I look around at this battlefield, which is beautiful, by the way. This is such a beautiful location. I am playing this game on story mode. It is the name of my channel, and it's because I'm not that good at video games, but I want to enjoy them as much as people who are good at them. So I play generally on story mode to make these games more accessible to me and my skill level. So I'm not worried about a lot of damage. I'm not really worried about staying alive. The game is giving me a lot of grace in terms of my HP and stamina and all of that. The reason that matters, and I bring it up, is because I'm not super concerned about looting every potential chest or resource in the game, because I'm not playing on a difficulty that warrants me making sure I have every resource I possibly can gather. So that's why I'm not prioritizing that. Let's take a look at these Oseram, which is a tribe that we have not discussed yet.
An Oseram with a focus. Looks like he was sending data on the weapons somewhere else.
Let's investigate the other one. Oh, this is the weapon.
The weapon's still hot. I need to know how it worked. But I'll have to check on it once it's cooled off.
Okay. Too hot to handle right now, but as they were saying and Aaron called out, that weapon was able to disable the shield that Verbena was wearing to protect herself. And we can't possibly fight the Zeniths without it, so we need to figure out how that weapon worked. Someone was camping up here, probably the Oseram.
Looks like the rebels camped here for a while. Were they watching this area? Alright. I think I have an idea what happened here. I better get back to Erend.
Okay, so she said the rebels, which implies the Tanakh that were here. The guys that were in the wooden masks, very brightly colored. Like I said, those were Tanakh tribesmen. They must have been rebels of Regalas. Look how beautiful this is. Oh, I want to live here. So the rebels, she's saying, have been scoping out the area. Let's catch up with Aaron, who, by the way, is also Oseram. And a friend of ours.
All right, she who sees the unseen. What did you find out?
This was a carefully planned attack. I found camping gear up there. The rebels must have been staking out this place for at least a few days. They were waiting for the Zeniths to show up. All so that they could test that weapon. The Zeniths have a personal shield that makes them invulnerable, but somehow the weapon got rid of it. The Oseram that was operating it was sending data on it somewhere else. It was probably just a prototype.
I've known tinkers that do that. I'd do a little trial run before breaking out the real thing. Well, I guess it's still a work in progress, if it blew up.
She was searching for something she'd lost. Her drone had instructions to recover something called the asset.
The asset? Is that the sub-function thing that you said could be here? The Luthia?
I'm not sure. Come on, let's go talk to Varl.
You know what? I wasn't thinking of Aletheia. I was thinking of a different asset, but that's a good point, Aaron. Catching on, catching on. So yeah, I think it's unnecessary but interesting to point out. First of all, the snow on the ground is ridiculous. It's so snow-like. But Aaron and Varl, Zoe and Katalo hanging out the base camp and educating themselves supports the narrative of the story. Because can you imagine if Aloy had to stop and explain all of this to Aaron, like, as it's happening? That happened a lot in Zero Dawn. You didn't have a party of characters, thank goodness, but you did have to explain things to a lot of people. It's really beneficial that these guys are, like, part of the team, and that they're also going out of their way to kind of understand what these terms are, who these people are, and kind of what's at stake, so that we can just kind of play the game and they can track. All right, Varl, what do you see, my friend?
That's a long way down.
Ooh.
Something tunneled straight down into the mountain. Looks recent.
Whatever it was, it must have been powerful. That Zenith the rebels killed was looking for something called the asset. I don't know what it is, but my guess is it's somewhere down there.
All right, so we head down.
Aaron, stay here and stand watch. That Zenith isn't the only one of its kind. I don't want to be caught by surprise if the others show up. Contact us by focus if you see anything.
Okay. Any trouble shows up, I'll call you.
Let's go.
Oh, poor Aaron has to stay behind. Can I use my glider? The curse reminded me of. Oh.
Gliding in.
Yep.
There's some kind of old world ruin down here.
You said the Zeniths have their own backup of Gaia, right?
Yeah, from the proving lab.
So maybe they were after Aletheia. Found its hiding spot, so it sent the distress signal.
Maybe.
See, Varl gets it. Varl gets it. She said an old world ruin. So as most of you are familiar with this game and this world, the old ones are how they refer to the humans that existed, like Elizabeth Sobek, who existed before the Pharaoh Plague is what they call it. The robots, the AI robots wiped out the earth, basically. They refer to the humans that existed before as the old ones. And those guys, as you can imagine, since they developed Program Zero Dawn, were extremely technologically advanced. And so there are tons of facilities like this all scattered throughout our territory that we explore, that are underground like data centers. They're underground bunkers where survivors took shelter. There are facilities that were created by Zero Dawn called cradles. Cradles is where they rebirthed humans. They reactivated human DNA and then basically created, kind of cloned, well, not kind of, they absolutely cloned new humans and raised them in cradles and facilities that were underground. And a couple of other variations. So when she says an old world ruin, it's just a reference to the original humans. It's always going to be some kind of technologically advanced facility, and it'll be of one of varying options. So Varl is referencing the fact that the Zeniths are also trying to accomplish what we are, which I've mentioned a couple times. They're also trying to rebuild the Zero Dawn system. We don't know why. We know why we're trying to do it. We're trying to save the Earth. We don't know why they're trying to do it. And they, like he said, very smart, they may have also realized that Aletheia was here, because they also have a Gaia kernel like we do at our base camp. They also have a Gaia Colonel that has no reason but to cooperate with them to find her missing subordinate functions. So we're on a race against the Zeniths to get to all the sub-functions first. Alright, let's see what's going on in here. I'm going to look around a bit. As you guys know in this game, what's really cool is things called data points. And it may be a written document, or it may be a voice recording. But you get a lot of context for what the humans were doing during the apocalypse. A lot of them were fighting to try and save Earth. A lot of them were working on other programs. A lot of them were working on Zero Dawn. A lot of context with how people were actually dealing with the Pharaoh Plague and all of that. We'll come back. So data points are always cool things to find because they give you more context to the story, and I appreciate that context. All right, the game's telling me to go this way, so I'm going to follow directions.
Looks like some kind of data center. I might be able to access the facility systems from that console.
All right, we have a data center, she said. There's a console here. Ooh, are we where I think we are? Just gonna run around a little bit. All right. Let's take a look at what this console can show us.
This was a Far Zenith research lab. Looks like a lot of data was beamcast from here recently. From that device nearby.
So Eluthia's gone?
If it was ever here, then probably. But then why were the Zeniths still searching for the asset? Let's keep looking around.
Fancy. So this facility, she's saying, is something that the Zeniths would have used. So before everybody escaped on the spaceship, they did research here. And it looks like the Zeniths who have come back, who have just arrived, came here for information. And they were able to transmit that information through this thing right here.
I've never seen a transmitter like this before. Looks like it's self-destructed.
So they came here for information. Now this door is open, so let's see where it takes us. There was something to jump off of up top, though, and now I'm nervous that I've skipped something that matters, but we'll just follow the game.
At least this one doesn't seem to have giant killer machines.
Or anything you can blow up.
She's so cold. She keeps hugging herself. I should change my outfit. It won't make any difference, but psychologically I'll feel better. So she's in a Tanakh outfit right now that we were given, but you can't really tell because it's body paint, but she's literally in like a tank top and shorts, and then she's got a few layers of stuff on top of that, but like her legs are bare, her arms are bare, her midriff is actually bare, it's just painted. So there's part of me that's like, I need to put on my Nora outfit because it covers me better. And it's so cold. Really won't change her reactions, though. When you're in a cold climate, she's gonna hold herself. She reacts to the weather exclusively, regardless of what she's wearing. Alright. Some screens here. Monitors.
All this stuff. Wonder what they were doing here.
Well, knowing Far Zenith, probably discovering amazing things. For their own benefit.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Oh. And remember, these guys are doing research at base camp with Gaia to learn about the Zeniths. So she's actually not necessarily telling Varl anything he doesn't know, which is cool. That's why I'm saying it's cool that they're doing that, because I never really put it together when I first played through how much that element of the story of them staying at the base camp and like learning about stuff actually helps you progress in the game.
Like the ones I saw inside a Zero Dawn cradle facility.
Oh no.
This place keeps on going.
No,
Remember when I told you I was made,
no.
not born? This is how.
A machine that makes a person. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh god. This is a stage. I recognize this. Okay, this is gonna suck. Sorry, I was panicking over their dialogue a little bit. She's saying this is where humans were cloned. This is a facility of the old ones where humans were cloned. Is basically all it is, and so she's explaining that to Varl. Are we supposed to jump out of this window? There's nothing below us. That feels kind of risky. The game is like, use your focus, use your focus. Look around. A bunker door. Heavily shielded, seal integrity maintained. So I guess we need to open the door. Oh, here's the data point that I was talking about. Let's see if this is audio or written. This is written. So these are also cool because, like, playing through the game, you're gonna be able, hey Chris, welcome back. I need to visit that facility because I need to clone myself. This is also a cool way to answer the questions these characters are asking themselves. What were they doing here? You can look at some of this information and see in more detail. So this is a written record. This looks like a letter from somebody who was here, someone named Daniel McGill. He says, Claire, wish you'd been on the call with me with Zero Dawn. So the Zenith program, Far Zenith and Zero Dawn. Far Zenith, again, they were just trying to escape. They wanted to build a spaceship and colonize another planet. They wanted Gaia. They wanted the Zero Dawn program for themselves so that they could use it to terraform their new planet. And Elizabeth was not playing ball with them. So there was a lot of back and forth between New Zenith at the time and the Zero Dawn development team. And there was also some criminal activity between the two. The Zenith actually tried to steal the program, which we saw that kind of play out in the first episode of this playthrough with a really fun cutscene. But yeah, so basically Zero Dawn was protected very well, so the Zeniths did not succeed in stealing the program before they left Earth. Whoever negotiated this deal with them was ingenious. A bunch of our old tech collecting dust and storage in exchange for a copy of all human knowledge. Talk about a bargain. And the guy heading up the Eleuthia subfunction, Patrick Brockard Klein, you could practically see sparkles in his eyes when he was bombarding us with follow-up questions on the ectogenic chamber design. It was like we were waving catnip in front of him. Anyway, they're requesting additional material on nutrition delivery. Higher ups gave the go-ahead, so send over everything we have. Brockard Klein will probably pee his pants in glee. Okay, so this is insight into that exchange between these two programs. Far Zenith saying we're gonna save humanity by colonizing another planet and populating it. And then Zero Dawn, where it was like, we accept the destruction of our planet, but we're gonna re-terraform Earth. We're gonna bring life back to this planet. So it does sound like they were trying to do something very similar in two different ways. And so the Far Zenith program, they would have resources for how they were going to survive on the spaceship for extended period, until they got to their planet. So it sounds like there was just information that was beneficial that they could exchange between the programs, which is kind of cool to think about. All right. Sorry, I got distracted by the data point. Where do I need to go to get this door open is my question. I don't really want to open the door because I know now where I am and what's going to happen, and it's going to suck. But we've got to do what we've got to do. The world is at stake, right? Alright, is there anything I'm missing in the area that I have access to about this door? So this may be that thing that I noticed before at the entrance that I needed to jump on. Might lead me in another direction, but I'm going to look around first more thoroughly. Is this where we came from? Yeah, we came up these stairs. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So we don't know if the Zeniths that were here, like the one that got killed outside, got the Eleuthia subfunction from this location or not. Because we're following a distress signal, so something that either is Eleuthia or disguised itself as Eleuthia, which is a subfunction, sent a distress signal, and we just don't know if it's a legit request for help or if it's a trap. But we had to come investigate because we don't have other options, you know? Like, we've got to find these things. Okay, so the game is not giving me anything. I feel like I can just jump out.
This place is huge. Some kind of storage room, maybe.
Maybe the asset is in here somewhere.
If it is, somehow the Zenith couldn't find it. Let's look around. So, how is Erend taking all of this? Really?
Well, Gaia, the Zeniths, the Focus, it's a lot. But when I caught up to him in the Daunt and said you needed our help, he dropped everything and turned around.
Well, he's loyal. That's for sure. I'll find this in my stash later.
This is a massive facility. I did see the door. Don't worry, I did see that door that was directly below where I jumped from. But I am gonna look around. I'll do a circuit and then we'll
A control console to access the storage units.
Can it tell us if the asset is in one of them?
Well, let's find out.
We will in a minute. I feel like I need... There's like 2 things I've seen now that I feel like I needed to engage with, but I chose not to, and now I feel like I need to backtrack. But the game is telling us, like, this is how you go forward, so I guess it's fine. Oops. Trying to jump in Palea fashion. This is not Palea. Different controls. This thing? No. This thing? Okay. Let me loot these boxes real quick. So obviously I'm much more interested in looting boxes that are inside of buildings instead of out in the wilderness. I can't tell you why. I want to go through this door. What's in here? Just more debris. Okay. Alright. There's some things I feel like I should touch, but let's move ahead. The game's saying to do this. Enter code.
236 containers in storage. Please enter the container number you'd like to retrieve.
236? Wasn't there a number in the distress signal?
You're right. I should check the log.
There is a number in the distress signal. I need to check the log. Okay, get out of this. Do I have... Wait. Notebook. Data points? Do I have a data point? Verbena to base. So he said the distress signal, but this is a voice recording that was sent from the Zenith that was killed outside. So would she... Hologram data points, text data points, unknown, text data points, world, salvage contracts, museum, unknown. I didn't think that I had a data point for the distress signal. I wonder how to find that. Nobody tell me if you know. Because I've picked up data points in a lot of different places we've been. So this is for quests. What to do, Delver's Journal, interrogation. I'm looking for the subordinate functions. I'm looking for a distress signal. Here it is. Okay, here it is right here. Distress signal, text log, data corruption minimal, SOS, 3755 39.9 north. Okay, so those are the coordinates. The number in here is 237 and beware. So this signal was potentially sent by Eleuthia, the subfunction, saying help, giving us the coordinates, their location, and then the code 237, which I think is what we want. So let's try to enter 237.
236 containers in storage. Please enter the container number you'd like to retrieve.
He said there's 236 in storage, but I need 237. Does that mean I can't get it? We're gonna find out. Their storage facilities in this game are so dumb. That's a person.
Aloy. It's you. Skin's like ice. Must have cut this from her head. But why?
Hello, Elizabeth. Apologies, I don't know what else to call you. My name is Beta. I'm afraid I must be brief. I only have a few minutes before my keepers discover I'm missing, and I still need to remove this implant. I had hoped to find shelter with you, but if you're viewing this, I may be dead. Be careful when you take on Far Zenith. They are ruthless, and they have Eleuthia, Artemis, and Apollo now. But at least I don't have the Gaia kernel to merge them with. You must succeed, or this was all for nothing. Good luck, and goodbye. So she's
still alive.
We need to get her back to...
Oh no.
Oh shit, they can fly? Aloy! Aloy, can you hear me through this thing?
What's going on, Erend?
2 of those Spectre things just fell out of the sky. One of them is heading down towards you. The other one's waiting up here.
We're coming up. Stay in cover until I get there.
You got it.
Get her to cover in that room. Whatever happens, she stays with us.
I'll protect her.
I should prepare before the Spectre gets here. I can't let it get through to Varl on the clone.
Uh-huh. There's a countdown on the thing. Okay, great. I'm gonna pause for just a second because stuff's about to get real. Does it upset the algorithm deities if I watch on both my phone for the keyboard and my TV for the video audio? I think it's fine, Thunder. I think it'll still be one view, but I don't think you're gonna break anything. Straight to the point is always Erend. Yeah. They cuss a lot more in this game. And like, I'm not offended because I don't mind, but that's kind of funny. I keep thinking like, Nightbot, oh, Erend was just cussing. It's so fun. Okay, so cutscene. We just found another, well, I don't know how much information to share, but basically this girl was clearly held captive by the Zeniths. She said they have 3 functions. They have Eleuthia, Artemis, and Apollo. Apollo is spicy, so we'll have to talk about that in the future. They have Eleuthia, Artemis, and Apollo, which means they did get Eleuthia from this facility, assuming it wasn't a trap. However, this girl who put herself in stasis, obviously in a pod, has taken their Gaia kernel, so they don't have the Gaia figure that we have in our facility. She stole it because she's trying to stop them from rebuilding the Zero Dawn system. So she was a captive of the Zenith. She's clearly escaped. She stole the kernel to try and thwart them, and then put herself in stasis in this facility, and apparently sent a distress signal hoping that we would get it. So we've got to protect her. and keep that kernel out of the hands of the Zeniths. The Spectres are the machines that we saw one of them dead on the ground outside, and I said they are problematic. They are very problematic, and we are about to get a visit from one. So Aloy saying I need to prepare is really just telling me, the player, to make sure I'm equipped. So I'm going to craft some arrows. Acid arrows and regular arrows. And then I should probably equip my sharp shot bow as well. Oh no, he's already here. There it is. Great. Let's shoot it with some acid arrows for what that's worth. I have to stop this thing from reaching beta, which I feel like I should get closer to it.
Acid's correct.
To keep the distance, you know what I mean? Hi! Oh my god. Let's not fight over here. Let's fight way over here where you aren't anywhere near Varl and beta.
Ooh, ugly one, aren't you?
Corrosion is working on it, which is kind of surprising because they are very advanced machines.
I should scan that thing. See if it has any weak spots.
I guess I should scan it. That would be smart. Can I use my focus, please? I know, I know, I know. I just had to scan you. I need you to go into my catalog as well. Ouch, dude.
That thing's quick.
Yes, it is. Oh, hi. Oh, I love that gun. That's a lovely gun. Where is he? Where is he? There he is. He's inside of the thing. Alright, I'm out of acid arrows. Let's craft some while I take some damage. We're definitely the part of the game where I'm gonna take more damage. I need to watch my XP on this fight here. I've been able, even though I'm in story mode, and I've been able to pretty much ignore damage taken thus far, the game's getting a little more serious now. Alright, I'm out of ammo, so I need to quit trying to do that. Now I can shoot him with regular arrows, but I seem to be missing components for the acid arrows, which are helping me. But now I've just got to get in here and hack and slash. I don't think regular arrows are going to do that much damage. I could be wrong. What are you doing? Oh, it died. Okay, the corrosion. It must have been the corrosion.
Are you okay, Aloy?
Yeah, I'm heading up top. Stay down here with the clone for now.
Got it. I'll follow once the coast is clear.
Okay. You guys keep hiding. I'm gonna go fight, because there's two Spectres. Aaron said one of them stayed up top where he is, so I need to go up.
Gotta get back up top and deal with that other Spectre.
Yeah.
I just hope Aaron stays in cover.
Alright, how do I get out of here? This exit of the building may be what those points were for that I was saying. I feel like I came across a place I need to go, but I've been bypassing them. Maybe now I will need to engage with those areas to get out of here.
Aloy!
Hi.
Aaron!
And the Spectre's dug its heels in. It's got me pinned down.
Uh-oh.
Hang tight. I'm almost there.
Just hurry.
Don't die, Aaron. Don't die. I'm coming. They are butt heads. They're fast and difficult. Oh, I gotta climb up the... Yep. Gotta run, gotta run.
That doesn't sound good. I gotta get to Aaron.
We're working on it. See how my HP has restored itself? I actually haven't taken any medicinal herbs.
I'm here.
Hey.
Watch out. That thing's shooting down the center.
Okay, I thought he was literally pinned.
I'll see what I can do.
He just means I'm stuck behind a
I'm there.
Spectre's not budging from that spot. I might be able to sneak up on it if I stay out of its line of fire.
Okay.
I need to sneak around behind it. It's a fight if I take that thing head on.
Stop whispering. It's so annoying. She said I can sneak up behind it? Maybe? Oh, there he is. Well, it's focused on Aaron.
I could use it against the Spectre.
Oh, I'm supposed to use this? A dart gun? Alright. There's a rock there, so let's not shoot from here. I'm glad I kept this armor on after all my complaining about how exposed she actually is, because this armor has a heavy weapon buff that helps me to utilize heavy weapons a little bit better. Man, Aaron does really good bait because this thing is not paying attention to him at all. Alright, that's it. We're done.
Down. It's on the move.
This thing is very slow to fire. I don't like that.
Done with this.
Ah! Well, that didn't do much. Guess the guy's attention.
Heavy weapon.
Hi!
That could help.
Oh, the game is- she's like telling me to go grab that weapon. Ah. Alright. Alright, fine. It shoots so slowly though. It feels very ineffective. Where did it go? Where did I drop it? Aaron, be careful, my dude. Okay, well, it's not letting me pick up the weapon again. But the game said to do that, so I'm a little confused. Ow, dude! Get off! Get off of me!
Hey, Aloy!
I love that gun of yours. I love it. Screw the effing cannon thing. I'm just gonna hit him a lot. Get off of the wall, cheater! Get down here. Aloy, get up! Oh my god. I need a movement speed buff. This is absurd. This happens with Link in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom too. Like, when he takes a serious hit, like, he just collapses for a pretty long time. It's like, can you get up, please? I know that hurt, but... We almost got him. His HP is really low. I just can't get a shot off. It's too fast.
Hit you again?
Alright, hold on. Regular arrows is all I've got. I can't get close to him, so we're gonna shoot. There he goes. Yeesh. You okay, Aaron? You were supposed to wait, Varl.
Aloy, she's... Look, I swear I'm not drunk, but right now I'm seeing double.
Long story, but it'll have to wait.
She needs a healer, but we need to get her back to the base immediately.
Right. Yeah. Well, what are we waiting for then?
You two go on ahead. I need to take another look at that weapon. If I can figure out how that thing works, maybe the Zeniths won't be so invincible after all.
Uh-huh. So
I
something
wonder how much snow is gonna pile up.
fell off of that. Is it this? Oh no, these are the arrows that Aaron was desperately trying to give me. That I was ignoring. Where's my Spectre? Did it disappear? Oh, here it is. Search you. Take all of your goodies, because you've got advanced parts that I definitely want. Didn't you guys see in the cutscene, like, a piece of the thing fell off of it? And, like, rolled on the ground, and it was very, like, the game was like, pay attention to this. Where is that thing? Can I get that cannon off? Can I get the cannon off? No. Okay, it'll blow. Spectre pulse cannon.
I do.
Thank you very much. Oh, I was supposed to pick it up and use it? Oh, well this would have been nice to have. Whatever, put it down. It's no point now. Already killed the thing. I killed the thing with regular ass arrows. Thank you very much. Alright, now this is cooled off. I need to look at it again.
No. Damn it.
Pick up the orb thing.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Oh, loading screen. Proof that I'm playing on the 4. You love the ominous shadow? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the ominous shadow myself. A little stressful. A little stressful. He was tailing me. Excuse me. Hydration break, everybody. It looked funny. The tentacles. Ow. Man, loading screen of loading screens. What is about to happen? I guess a big cutscene. Buckle up, everybody.
I need to get the weapon fragment to Gaia to analyze. If we can replicate it, maybe we'll have a way to defeat the Zeniths. I should check on the clone, too. Varl, where's our guest?
We're in the maintenance corridor below the control room.
Okay.
Okay. Alright, well, I appreciate the teleport back to base.
Seen one of my machine strike pieces around?
Let's go talk to Gaia, like she said. We're gonna give Gaia the orb that we collected at the battlefield. See if she can analyze it and figure out what it is, and figure out if we can use it to create a weapon.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Talk to Gaia.
Aloy, I see we have a new guest. So now we know the origin of the transmission.
Yeah. I also recovered this. The weapon it was part of somehow stripped a Zenith of its shield, but it malfunctioned and blew up. If we can recreate the weapon and improve it, maybe we'll gain the upper hand on the Zeniths.
A moment. I will scan it. Complete. By combining the results with data from your focus, I can infer that the weapon was highly advanced, comparable to Zenith technology, but not how it worked.
Did the explosion corrupt the data?
It was only a catalyst. The moment the weapon malfunctioned, it appears a command executed to purge all data within its core. Ostensibly, this was to prevent the weapon's secrets from falling into enemy hands. Whoever designed this weapon knew how to cover their tracks.
Silence.
Based on your data on him, that is my conclusion as well.
And he's not gonna cooperate with us. Well, it was worth a shot. But that's not all. The Zeniths got Aletheia, along with Artemis and Apollo.
That is unfortunate. However, our original plan remains unchanged. The two remaining subordinate functions should increase my heuristic processing density enough to absorb Hephaestus.
Right. One problem at a time. Well, I guess I better check on the clone before I head back out there.
Yes. She retreated to the maintenance corridor directly below us. Varl is with her.
Right. Thanks, Gaia.
Thanks, Gaia.
Gaia? What is this?
It is a control console for a drone-based imaging system connected to this dome. I will transmit the relevant data to your focus.
Huh. So this Cyclops is a network of drones to monitor the deteriorating biosphere conditions. I guess it was meant to display on the dome, but the drones aren't connected anymore. If I find the drones out in the wilds, I could get the data from them.
Uh-huh.
Use it to reconnect them and restore the display.
Cursed. The survey drones, you say? Alright. Alright. Let's go talk to what we keep referring to as the clone, even though she told us her name was Beta. Aloy is not going to call her Beta yet. Let's go meet her now that she's conscious. She's delightful, I say with sarcasm.
That's fine.
The control room directly below us. Oh, it's stairs. Okay, good. Gross.
Aloy, Glad you made it back okay. She panicked after waking up and stumbled down here. I thought it best to wait for you.
I'll talk to her. Hello? It's Beta, right? My name's Aloy. What's wrong? Is it your injury?
Simulacrum withdrawal syndrome.
I don't understand.
Sudden removal of a neurologically integrated data device. The brain, especially the cerebellum, goes into a kind of sensory freefall. Everything real feels unreal. Distant.
Is there anything that can help?
Do you have a focus to spare? It's primitive, but I can make it work.
Yeah.
It's primitive? This is the most advanced technology I have, lady.
Booting up.
So, Aloy, I suppose you want information. About you and the Zeniths? Yeah. Why are they here? What do they want? How did they get you? But let's start at the beginning. I'm guessing they faked the destruction of their ship 1,000 years ago?
That seems consistent with their behavior. They wouldn't want to be followed.
So far, Zenith established a colony world after all.
Yes, for a few hundred years, but it didn't last.
So much head movement.
Some sort
I'm
of
like getting
natural
dizzy watching
disaster
them.
rendered it uninhabitable.
Okay, so the descendants of Far Zenith escaped a dying planet, and now they want to claim Earth for themselves?
Not their descendants.
What?
Not their descendants. It's them. The same ones who left Earth 1,000 years ago. You didn't know?
How can they still be alive? They don't even look... What did they do to themselves?
I believe it's a combination of pharmaceutical, cellular treatments, and technological implants.
And you? Does that mean that you're...
I'm not like them. I was made. On the way to Earth. On the ship. I spent years studying in my training interface, all so that I could serve my function.
Access and control of the terraforming system. But why? What do the Zeniths want with it?
When I discovered the Zero Dawn system had disseminated into its subcomponents, I thought my purpose was to fix it. But I don't think the Zeniths want that at all. I think they want to wipe Earth clean and start over.
Ooh. Okay, well, lots and lots of head movement later. This reveals holy cannolis. These are not the descendants of the Far Zenith escapees or refugees, if we want to say. These are the same people who were on Earth 1,000 years ago, who boarded a spaceship to escape the destruction of the planet. So, holy cannolis, apparently they have technologically modified themselves to not age. I think we'll end up talking about it. Hashtag spoiler alert, more in the future. But yeah, so that's the crazy revelation. Not only are they the same people who left Earth 1,000 years ago, but they cloned Elizabeth here, and now she is Beta, and they basically locked her in a training module or something, where all she did was train, all she did was learn. And so as she has grown, her years of existence from baby to adulthood have simply been the assimilation of information. And they are trying to use her to access the system in the way that Aloy has access to the system, which is by being a clone of Elizabeth Sobek. So, crazy town. About the Zeniths.
So we're dealing with the same Far Zenith people who once lived on Earth. What else do you know about them?
They were some of the most affluent and powerful people on Earth. They controlled almost every major resource, every industry. Gerard commands them. He's the one who decided to set up a base. The others, Eric, Tilda, Verbena, they resent his authority over them, but in the end, they always do what he says.
Eric. He's the one I fought back in the Hades Proving Lab.
He enjoys hurting people.
Yeah, I know.
So there's like 4 of them, which is crazy. There's just 4, but now there's 3, but because Verbena was just killed on the mountain.
You mentioned the Zeniths set up a base here on Earth. Where is it?
Off the coast, I think. Whenever I had to go on missions, I was transported inside of a Spectre drone. I couldn't see anything outside. But I did overhear the Zeniths talking about it once. They were discussing setting up a perimeter energy shield to repel the local fauna. I'm certain they have other security measures. Spectre patrols, machine lures. It must be impregnable.
What's inside the base?
Launch facilities, so they can shuttle back and forth to their ship in orbit. Plus, infrastructure to gather materials and fabricate anything they need.
Are there more Zeniths than the ones you met?
I'm not sure. I suppose there must be more of them in the base or back on the ship. For all I know, there could be more of them out in space. Other survivors of the colony.
Okay, fair enough. Another thing of note that I forgot to highlight, which, I mean, they're saying these things out loud, so I know you guys are catching them. But, Beta was saying, I thought they wanted me to put Gaia back together, to put Zero Dawn back together. In fact, they want to destroy the they want to wipe Earth clean and start over. So we're going to get background as to what they're up to. So there are Zeniths that have established a base on Earth. They are able to teleport or transport between Earth and their ship, which is in orbit, she says. And there may be more, but we just know of the 3 intimately that we are dealing with. Excuse me. And then we should also note, Beta will probably give us more details, but note that Beta's been extremely isolated and she's been a captive, basically. So she doesn't necessarily have the knowledge of everything and everyone involved in the Far Zenith plan.
You said the Zenith's colony in the Sirius system was destroyed. What happened?
All I was ever told was that a natural disaster forced them to leave Sirius. I've speculated that it was an extrasolar object or a cataclysmic seismic event. Or maybe even an abnormally violent coronal mass ejection from Sirius A.
The Zeniths never told you any details.
They said the only thing that mattered was that they survived. First Earth, 1,000 years ago, and then Sirius.
Guess they survived old age, too.
Okay, so that explains it. Their colony, the planet that they inhabited, was destroyed, and so now they have come back to Earth, the only other planet they know of, I guess, where they can live. So they are coming back to take Earth back for themselves. Fancy.
You said you were born on the way to Earth. In an artificial womb, I'm guessing?
The Zeniths had an ectogenic chamber aboard the ship. An updated version of the one you found me in. They must have used a stored sample of Elizabeth's DNA.
I doubt Elizabeth would have let them take her DNA. Do you know how they got it?
That wasn't part of the archive I was allowed to access.
Okay. Confirming her clone status. I love how her voice is the same but slightly different too. Hey, voice acting. It's a skill.
How did you escape the Zeniths?
Before the Hades Proving Lab, I never thought I'd get away from them. Even if I were to run, I'd never survive on my own in the wilds. But then I saw you. And I thought that maybe you could help me. So when the Zeniths pinpointed Eluthia's location in the biomedical research facility, I saw an opportunity.
You said you saw an opportunity to escape when you went to capture Eluthia. What did you do, exactly?
Whenever I was taken out on a mission to recover a subordinate function, only one of the Zeniths would go with me.
The one the rebels killed, outside the facility.
Baina's dead? How did they bypass her shield?
I'm looking into it. But you were talking about your escape?
Well, when it was time to use the Zenith's transmitter to send Eluthia back to base, I also sent the encrypted transmission. Then I distracted Verbena long enough to seal myself in the ectogenic chamber, altering the facility's log so it appeared that there were only 236 containers.
Aha!
And the Gaia root kernel?
I told them I could capture Eluthia faster if I had it with me, and they believed me.
Well done.
Well done indeed.
You said you spent years studying in a training interface. Was this archive you mentioned part of that?
But only the parts I was permitted to access. Aristotle and Aspasia, the avatars of the archive, would assign me learning modules and evaluate my progress.
Wait, those names. They were designed to be the virtual guides for the Apollo database, before Ted Faro purged it.
The Zeniths have a copy.
So it still exists. And you got to learn from it.
Only what was deemed pertinent to the mission. If I requested information outside of my parameters, my tutors would deny it.
To have all that knowledge, just out of reach. Must have been frustrating.
Exasperated gesture. Can you imagine if Silence could engage with Beta's training interface and access Apollo? It would be he would be in heaven on earth. OMG. Alright. Zenith's plan for Earth.
So the Zeniths want to exterminate life on Earth. That's what Gaia and I concluded too. But why? Why kill everyone just to take over?
When they took me on missions with them, I saw how they butchered the tribal people we encountered. They didn't seem to care about a rejuvenated Earth, so I concluded that they must want a hard reboot of the system. Then they can redesign it to be exactly what they want.
Mass extinction for their own comfort? Who thinks like that? Well, without their Gaia kernel, they'll have a hard time doing that. The Zeniths needed Elizabeth's gene print to access Zero Dawn facilities. So they made you. Trained you. And you went along with it?
They told me I was born to interface with the Zero Dawn system. When we reached Earth, I pieced together what must have happened to Gaia and her subordinate functions. That's when I started to realize I wasn't meant to fix Gaia. That they must have made me so I could do what their remote extinction signal failed to do. Reboot Earth for their own benefit.
The extinction signal. Oh my god. Okay, so the extinction signal is a big component to the original game, Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's see if they explain it. The extinction signal is old news, but to find out that it came from the Far Zeniths is significant. So let's see what they have to say about it before I explain something I don't have to explain.
So you know about the extinction signal?
It was speculation, but the only logical conclusion why Gaia suddenly self-destructed after operating efficiently for centuries. Gaia would have only undertaken such a desperate course of action if it had detected a threat to life on Earth that was more dangerous than ceasing function altogether. I should have realized that she would also order the recreation of Elizabeth Sobek to rebuild her.
Yeah, well, surprise.
Yeah, well, surprise. She's getting a serious workout. She's literally doing squats. She keeps standing up and sitting down, standing up, sitting down. She's getting a lot of good exercise. Those hamstrings are going to be solid. The extinction signal is a signal that was transmitted from an unknown origin. Now we know where it came from. In the original game to the Zero Dawn, the entire Zero Dawn program. So Gaia and all of her subordinate functions were together, they were complete, they were cohesive, and they were functioning perfectly. The Earth was recreated, humans were reintroduced, all of this stuff happened. And then the extinction signal came along, and that signal targeted a specific subfunction. His name was Hades, and his part of the program, the part that he played, the reason he was designed and included in Zero Dawn, is because they needed a reset button. Because the humans knew, Elizabeth knew, that Zero Dawn, Gaia herself and all her functions, they were not going to be able to reproduce the immensely intricate, specific chemical balances and all of the elements that basically make up our atmosphere, make up our biosphere, make up our world to make it inhabitable. It's so complicated, it's so intricate, it's so, I don't know, just like difficult, that Elizabeth knew that Zero Dawn would not successfully recreate an inhabitable biosphere on the first try. So she built in a failsafe, which was the program Hades. Hades would take over all of the machines that Hephaestus had made, and those machines would then destroy... Oh no, it wasn't that. Hold on. False information. Rewind. Hades would reactivate the Pharaoh robots that had destroyed the Earth in the first place. Hades would reactivate the Pharaoh robots. Part of the Pharaoh robot programming was that they consumed biomass as fuel, which means that they could, and they also had the ability to create more of themselves. So basically they would consume anything from minerals and like dirt to like human beings and animals as fuel. So basically the feral robots, that's how they wiped out Earth to begin with. They were a controlled robot army basically that we then lost control of, and they had specific abilities like consuming biofuel to maintain their power and other things to basically make them more efficient in terms of having them as like a military resource. So we lost control of them. Classic AI takes over the world story. They consumed everything, literally everything, and it destroyed the Earth to the extent that it was no longer inhabitable. So Hades would basically reactivate the feral robots so that they could just wipe out Earth all over again. So Gaia would do her thing, Zero Dawn would kick in, they would start to build an Earth, they would start to terraform, and then something would be out of balance, some chemical balance in the atmosphere, in the water, in the Earth. Like, who knows at what point the program recognized that, like, hey, we've hit a snag, there's an error, we need to wipe the slate clean and try again until we get it right. So Hades was developed as a kill switch, as a failsafe, and he was utilized, I think, he said at the beginning of this game, I think he said this was version 5 of the reborn Earth, if you will. So Gaia had to try 4 times before she successfully recreated an inhabitable biosphere for humans. So he had been activated at least 4 times. So the extinction signal, once everything was successful, the extinction signal was sent to activate Hades so that he would activate the feral robots so that they would destroy the Earth again. And so our kind of objective in the first game was to stop Hades. We were able to put it all together and understand he had the ability to control robots and other machines, and that he was using it for violent ends. So our kind of big bad, our main enemy in the first game, is actually Hades himself, the subordinate function. So without going into any other details, the extinction signal was kind of what the first game was built around. And now we know that the Zenith sent it, and now we know it's because they actually want to wipe the Earth clean, use Zero Dawn's system to rebuild it to their specifications. So craziness.
All right, I think that's enough for now. Do you want to come upstairs, or?
So how long? You know, your plan. How long before Gaia's fabricated a machine army to defeat the Zeniths?
How did you know?
Optimal strategy, so?
Well, I still have to get 2 more subordinate functions before Gaia's powerful enough to absorb Hephaestus.
What? You don't have Hephaestus already?
Gaia's still figuring out how to capture it. It's not confined to a single location. Of course not!
You didn't even know who the Zeniths really are.
You were supposed to be further along by now. Coming here was a mistake. They're gonna find me. They're gonna find this place and take me back. This was all for nothing! They're not going to find us. Gaia's using Minerva to mask our location.
What difference does it make? You're too far behind. We're never going to beat them. Everything, everyone, are going to die.
Hey, calm down. You're here now, right? So is there anything you can do to help?
I have certain knowledge sets. And given your state of progress, expertise you probably lack. Geoengineering, of course. Computer science, physics, biology, chemistry.
Okay. Well, see if you can do something with that. Talk to Gaia. I'll check on you later.
Rude.
How'd it go?
Her injury's not that bad, but I think she regrets coming here. Feeling might be mutual.
I'll come back later and talk to her. See if I can learn anything.
Farrell is such a diplomat. I love him so much.
So I guess we won't be making use of Cylon's weapon. And now there is another clone of Elizabeth here with us. But I can't let it distract me. I still have 2 more subfunctions to get.
Okay.
It's a little loud, Aaron. I know.
It makes you want to punch something. More like someone. You're the one that helped me find it.
People make mistakes.
He is, I had to find him. He is rocking out to some music that he found in the database. Okay. Real quick before we engage with anybody else. So you guys picked all of that up. Beta had a little meltdown that we weren't ready to attack the Zeniths right now. And she mentioned a robot army to basically overpower the Zeniths to defeat them. And we are in fact trying to gain the subfunctions necessary for Gaia to reintegrate the subfunction Hephaestus, who is the one who makes machines. And he is a problem because he is scattered across the country. He's not at one location. We can't just go snatch him and force him back into the system. He's going to be a challenge to collect. So basically, as you understand, Beta's freaking out, saying you guys don't have nearly enough knowledge, you don't have the expertise, and you haven't made the progress that you need to make for us to handle the Zeniths now. And if we don't do it now, there's no stopping them. So she's panicked, and it's reasonable. I remember being a little bit more frustrated with Beta as a character in this game because I felt like she was being very negative and kind of attacking Aloy a little bit in that scene, and I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. Probably because I was playing it myself and not streaming it, so I was kind of putting myself into the story a little bit more. But she has basically been tortured is a strong word, but since she was born, she's just been a tool, and she's been isolated and controlled and used. And so she knows how dangerous the Zeniths are. She really knows how dangerous they are. And she has reasons to be freaking out. So I get it. I have a little bit more compassion for her this playthrough, I think, because I'm not taking it so personally. But yeah. You think tortured is a good word? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she received physical abuse, as well as mental abuse to keep her submissive if she ever pushed back. But so far as how she discusses her experience, it's more really about being caged and controlled and stuff like that. But yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Regardless of how you define it. She suffered a lot, and she just had the guts and the intelligence to get herself out, and now she feels like she's gone to get help from someone who can't help her. And I get the panic. I can appreciate that. And Cry, I have to mute again for another meeting. Oh no, I was just gonna ask your opinion. I'm 3 hours into stream, but we have spent so much of this stream kind of talking. We've only accomplished one thing. So there's a part of me that kind of wants to do another little quest, but what do you think, Kirsch? Should we keep going? Let's see, what time is it for me? I don't even have my phone. It's 9 o'clock for me. It's not that late. But I can't decide if we're going to wrap it up or so let me mull that over in my head while we talk to some people.
Well, they didn't have 2 left feet like I do.
I could teach you.
Don't tempt me.
Erend? You okay?
Huh? Oh, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I be?
'Cause there's 2 of me now.
Right, there's 2 of you now. Well, at least you seem to be handling it okay.
I wouldn't say that exactly, but I'm trying.
Maybe you can get with Beta, Aaron, since you want to get with Aloy so bad. That was really funny. So he's freaking out a bit that they found another clone, which he probably just learned that Aloy is actually a clone of a person who lived 1,000 years ago. So he's taken in a lot of information. Let me send you a DM in Discord. I don't have my phone. I guess I can open it on my computer. But I don't want to do a side quest. I'm really deciding whether I want to go for another subordinate function. I think Poseidon is next on the list. But let's talk to these guys real quick and I'll mull it over because I have been going for a minute. And I mean, this is the nature of the game. Like I keep saying, it's a playable movie. It's about the cutscenes. It's about the discussions, the conversation. So I think we've gotten tons of content in this stream. But there's also part of me that's like, I want more action. So let's see. Let's talk to Aaron, though, because Aaron and Varl we weren't able to talk to them the first go-round at the beginning of stream because they were ready to go on a quest, and so if I engaged with them, they would have taken off. So let's ask them the questions, get to know them the way we did the others at the front of stream. Yeah, I'm head out to watch a show with the wife. Have fun. Thunder, enjoy your show. Enjoy quality time with the wifey. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you always showing up. It's great. And, yeah. I was going to make some reference to Rings of Power, but it's fine. Are you going to watch Rings of Power? Are you guys going to start it from the front? Are you guys going to start Rings of Power Season 1? Because now you know the 3rd season's coming out. Alright, let's talk to Aaron. But the only questions are the Zeniths, his training, which are the 2 questions I was ignoring from the other people. And then I can ask him how he's faring hanging out with everybody else. So again, talking to them specifically. No, it's a horror show? Oh, well, happy trails. You enjoy it. You enjoy your horror show. And the sleep you're not going to get tonight. You enjoy that. I'm not super confused about or interested in their perspective on the Zeniths. We know what's going on, so I don't really need to talk to him. And we're going to have to talk to Beta about the Zeniths a lot, so I'm not going to engage with that concept from this particular character. Excuse me, his training is what everybody else's training is. He is learning from the database, like he found his music that he likes. He's learning a bunch of information from the database, from Gaia, basically understanding, again, what's going on, what they need to be focused on, what's at stake, so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll just ask him about his companions.
Did you speak with Beta at all?
She didn't really wake up till we brought her here. And when she did, I thought it'd be better if Zoe and Varl took care of her. No use crowding someone when they're in a state.
Yeah, Aaron is a little much. So, Cursed, I do like him. I do like his positivity. I like his pluckiness, but like his interactions with Aloy are always so awkward that I think I internalize that a little bit. So I feel kind of uncomfortable around him because he's always being weird. But he's a good dude. Like he's just a character. All right.
I have to get going.
Don't go causing too much trouble.
So they're still gonna hang out here at base. So whenever we take off to pursue things, they're gonna be available to us. So let's talk to Varl because we haven't talked to him yet.
Hey. You and Aaron okay?
Nothing some rest can't take care of. Are you okay? This Beta thing, it's a lot. Even for you.
Just trying to take it one step at a time.
Fair enough. If you need anything, just let me know.
So compassionate.
How's everyone dealing with Beta?
I tried explaining what a clone is to Aaron. He was totally lost. Then Zoe said something about 2 trees coming from 1 seed. That seemed to help a bit.
Smart. Maybe I should talk to them about their training. That might give me more insight to the characters, but we'll leave it with these guys.
I should get back to the wilds.
I'll keep an eye on Beta. Make sure she's comfortable.
Okay.
All right. Zoe has a little green exclamation point. And there's another one somewhere. I guess Katalo must have one. So they're offering me side quests that are character specific to them. And I don't think I want to do that. But it might be a good alternative to jumping into a main quest. But let's see. So Sea of Sands is the search for Poseidon. And Seeds of the Past is the search for Demeter. So these are 2 more subfunctions where we know where they are. We don't know... Well, we didn't know where Artemis was. Now we know the Zeniths have it. But these are like the next thing. So basically, I would jump into this quest now to go and pursue Poseidon. But there are tons of side quests available to us. We've been to several significant locations in the game where we could go and like run around and talk to villagers, yada yada, pick up some side quests from there that would be a little bit shorter. But we also have character cycle. Like Zoe is gonna ask me a thing. She's gonna ask me a favor.
Used to be a rainforest so big the old
and then it seems like Katalo. There's another icon on my screen. Seems like Katalo might have a favor to ask.
The door's unlocked now.
They burned it to the ground at some point.
But these guys still have exclamation points. I guess because I haven't talked to them about their training. Okay, I'm gonna make the smart decision. I'm gonna wrap it up here. We did complete an entire mission. We did, well, we didn't get a Luthia. That's what we set out to do. But we got Beta, and we got a lot of information. We fought a couple of Spectres, and there is 1 less Zenith to worry about. And at the beginning of the game, we got to know our main characters a little bit better, and we explored the base a little bit more.
Help
so
yourself.
I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Maybe next stream will be a little more action-packed. And then once I get acquainted with everybody, like, we don't need to be touching base with them all of the time either. So yeah, so let's wrap it up here. We'll make it less awkward and turn around for her. Pause the game here. I'm gonna slip into this screen, and then we're gonna do this and do this, and everybody should be able to hear me and the background music right now. And we're gonna wrap it up at 3 hours, you guys. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Cursed, thank you to Kathleen who was here, thank you to Thunderstrike and Axebeard. Some familiar faces that popped into the chat. I appreciate you guys saying hello. I appreciate lurks, and I appreciate engagement in the chat. So thank you, Curse, for hanging out despite all of your meetings. I am going to wrap up here. And thank you to the VOD watchers, everybody who's going to watch the stream. Again, if you make it all the way to the end here, I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the game. Yeah, it's a lot of story today. It's very story heavy, but that doesn't mean that it's not good stuff. So I hope you guys are enjoying it, getting a little bit more context, talking to a few more characters in this game. It was a quiet stream. I didn't have a lot of engagement in the chat. Everybody's working today, so yeah, it was a little bit of a chill one today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will be back hopefully on Friday. I'm not ready to post a weekly schedule. I'm not ready to announce consistent streams yet, but I am trying it out this week. I am adding streams back into my schedule, so hopefully I will see you guys on Friday for another installment for episode 8. And if you think you're going to come back and check out that stream, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel if you are not already subscribed. And if you enjoyed this one, please go ahead and like it for me. That helps me out a whole lot. We are working our way to monetization, so I would appreciate any support anybody wants to offer to keep the content coming. So until we see each other again, you guys take really good care of yourselves. And hopefully I will see you on Friday. Until then, bye!